Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. Happy Assetto Corsa EVO update day. I hope you're all having a nice morning. I'm feeling somewhat rattled this morning for whatever reason. I feel like I didn't get a huge amount of sleep last night, but I feel like I've woken up and everything is falling around me. I don't know what's going on, but maybe that's just a normal Thursday morning for some of us. But I hope you're all doing well. 10 a.m. update. A 10 a.m. update, which is cool because it means that we're going to get to try out some new exciting cars and tracks on Assetto Corsa EVO very early in the morning. And I can already see many familiar names in the chat, so welcome all of you. I hope you're having a good week so far. And basically, Ibrahim's ill. Ibrahim's got a cold and a huge headache. Oh, I'm sorry, Ibrahim. I wasn't doing too well myself this week, but I don't think I've definitely past the worst of it, I would say, based on how I'm feeling this morning, despite what I've just said. But yeah, lots of familiar names in the chat, and also, interestingly, straight away you guys launched into comments about career mode and a lack of career mode and what it means. So it's such a big talking point this week in the world of sim racing. Strangely, we haven't done that much sim racing on the Traction channel this month. There's been, or so far, even this year, there's been a lot of kind of more casual racing games launching and lots of things happening. Bike game recently, obviously, with Ride 6. There's been so much happening, and we're obviously trying to cover all of these things, so we haven't really done too much sim racing. We know that lots of sim racing stuff is coming very soon, and it's going to be a huge year, as I probably say that every year, to be fair. But yeah, there are lots of big things coming. So there was going to be a lot of sim racing stuff on this channel very soon. We're obviously starting today with this Assetto Corsa EVO update. And the update is actually, is it finished on my end? It has. So I'm going to launch it. So as it's launching, though, I just want to show you, if I can get the right screen up. I just want to show you the patch notes real quick so you've got an idea. Or not the patch notes, but just our Traction article that Ross has thrown together with information about the update. So we have 7 new cars with variants of these cars. We have 2 new tracks. That's Watkins Glenn and Paul Ricard. We also have a kind of new track cut system, which sounds on paper pretty good. It sounds like it will be a sort of active live track cut system where it will be able to work out whether you've actually gained from going off track or not, and it will punish you accordingly. If you've not actually gained time, it won't punish you. Obviously, we need to see how that works in practice, so that's something we can hopefully investigate today. Maybe some online races a little bit later on as well, and see if that's implemented. And there's also a free camera mode that's been added, as well as a bunch of other little tweaks and improvements, some changes to some of the physics and things, the way that the electronic stability control kicks in. And there's a few other things, I think, differential tweaks as well to how some of the differentials work. We've got all the cars here, which are available to view on the Traction website. I've actually put a link to this article in the description down below. But we're going to be trying all of the cars and seeing how they actually feel. But the big thing, which is obviously not the thing that's going to be the highlight of the update at all, but just, I guess the big talking point revolving around about Assetto Corsa EVO right now is, of course, the removal of the sort of traditional career mode that didn't really exist yet, but was on the path to existence, let's say. So now that we've launched the game, I'm intrigued to see. I'm going to just jump in, and we're going to see whether or not the career mode is completely gone. I do believe we're just going to be going straight into open mode with no sort of career mode lead-in. But I'm really looking forward to hearing all of your opinions on stuff. I have been on 2 wheels, Harry. I have been on 2 wheels. I've also been off 2 wheels. I've been on no wheels several times. But actually, do you know what? I think it was all right. I think I was doing all right at Ride 6. I was getting the hang of it. I wasn't great, but I wasn't absolutely atrocious by the end. So it wasn't too bad. Podcast was great. Tom, thank you so much. We had a blast. It was a lot of fun. Mainly just nonsense, to be honest, but it was very enjoyable nonsense that was slightly car-related. For anyone wondering, we were at the Smith & Sniff podcast. It was live in Glasgow last night. I don't know if anyone here listens to that car podcast. Ex-Top Gear, 5th Gear people that were very much at the heart, like Richard Porter, for instance, very much at the heart of those old Top Gear episodes, for example, just talking nonsense about cars for an hour and then doing some community questions. So it was really good. It was really good fun. And I'm still alive this morning, which is, well, a little bit. Just a little bit. So yes, we're going to jump in, guys. I'm going to be chatting to you as we go here. And we've got, as I say, so much to discuss, whether it's about this update, which you can now see on screen as well within the game, or about, you know, the elephant in the room, or the elephant that's now left the room, because as you can see, there was no option to pick between career mode and open mode. It's just launched us straight in. So I think what we're going to do is, I want to kind of give each car a quick blast and just give some initial impressions and feedback and see how it sounds and see how it feels. So I thought it'd be quite fun to do like a little challenge or something. So one of the new tracks is Watkins Glenn. Let's just see if Watkins Glenn is here, and then we will know the update has worked. There it is, Watkins Glen International. 4 layouts, so I'm assuming that's the full boot layout, the international layout, and then the same 2 layouts without the chicane, and that's exactly what it is. So you've got the short layout without the chicane, you've got the short layout with the chicane, and then you've got the full GP layout and the GP layout with chicane. Do you know what I think might be fun? I think we do a little lap time challenge, right, in each of the new cars. So there's 7 new cars, obviously different variants. We start from what I think might be the slowest. We're going to set a lap time, 1 lap around the full Watkins Glen, so an out lap and a fast lap. I'm going to give myself 1 chance, so I'm going to have to kind of, you know, play easy a little bit, see how I feel with the car, see what lap time we set, and then sort of, I guess, compare the new cars by doing that. So we'll go GP inner loop for this. There's also Paul Ricard, which we'll look at later. We'll do a 12:30 practice session. That's absolutely fine. Oh, I'm afraid the open world update is not yet. You will definitely hear more about that closer to the time, but sadly, no. The open world update is still a way away. This year, but we don't know when this year. It's kind of the wording around that is subtly changing as time goes on. So it's, yeah, a little bit questionable. Okay, so the 7 cars, I think I know what this, or at least there's 2 cars that I think will be fighting to be the slowest. One of them, I'm just looking, hang on a second, I need to go to all vehicles, don't I? There we go. I was wondering why there was a few manufacturers missing. One of them is a Volkswagen Golf. The Golf GTI Mark 1. Excellent stuff. Black stripe, silver stripe. I'm just going to bring up on my phone real quick these 7 cars, so I make sure that when I come to pick the cars, I'm actually doing this in the right order and everything from what I think will be the right order. I'm going to predict that this Volkswagen Golf is the slowest, even though it's a Golf Mark 1 GTI, which is iconic and amazing. Let's give it a bash, though. I couldn't get my clutch assigned for some reason, so I did fire up the game very briefly this morning before the update just to try and get my wheel working. First of all, I had no force feedback. Rebooted the game, still no force feedback. Rebooted the game, trying to work out what was going on. Turns out it was because I had a controller plugged in, that it was essentially fighting with the wheel, and it was taking over control. But for some reason, I can't get my clutch assigned. The clutch is working in my SimuCube software, and I can see that it's there, and I can see the inputs, but it just won't work in the game for some reason. So I'm going to try one more time. I do have auto clutch assigned, but that shouldn't change this section. Yeah, nothing there. I don't know what's going on. I do not know what's going on, but it says we've got auto clutch on, so I'm hoping that we can just kind of get away with shifting without a clutch. But I mean, you know me, I've spent many a minutes stuck by the side of the road with a broken gearbox / clutch in this game. So we're gonna have to wait and see. I'm really keen to hear what you guys have to say, though, so please do let us know in the chat. I know you can't really leave a long comment in the live chat with lots of opinions on things, because obviously it gets a bit lost, and also there's probably a limit to how long you can do a chat without some sort of automated bot thinking you're spamming, so you've got to be careful with it. But if you could sum up your feelings right now in one sentence, one concise sentence, do it in the chat, and I'd like to see. Because I think a lot of people, there's obviously mixed emotions about this career mode decision. Some of the more hardcore sim fans that are not really as fussed about single player experiences. Hang on, is this too loud? Let me know if the audio is okay for for the car sounds. I think that's probably about right. No, open world is not available yet. Open world is not available yet. It was never going to be. It's not. We'll know for sure when open world is going to be available in an update. It's going to be later this year, unfortunately. So for anyone who's, I mean, I know, like, obviously, not everyone will see the news all the time, of course. So, I'm sorry if you're just finding out now. If you thought this was going to be the open world update, let me just assign the gearbox here, because for some reason it's not assigned. Okay, we're not getting this either. Interesting. Oh, I know why. I'm being silly. I need to go to the shifter. That's gonna help. All right, try that again, shall we? There we go. Cue the very common sight of me breaking gearboxes on Assetto Corsa EVO and not using it properly. As I say, I don't know what's going on where it won't let me assign a clutch. So we're just gonna have to, yeah. We're just going to have to see if the auto clutch works on an H pattern, and if not, we'll just have to go like sequential and pray. Try turning auto clutch off. Yeah, I did. I did think that, Mark. But it would be weird. It would be weird. But let's see if this works. I'll just lift for the changes. Alright, Watkins Glenn in my Golf. It's going to take us a little bit of time to get up to speed. It's not the most powerful thing in the world. But yeah, so a lot of the more... I keep on starting things and then getting sidetracked. A lot of the more hardcore sim racing audience who aren't fussed about single-player stuff as much are maybe happy that this game is essentially A, willing to change direction, but B, you know, happy that the focus is maybe shifting away from a currency and XP system that maybe wasn't for them anyway, and therefore can kind of make it more focused on the driving experience or the content or other elements of the game. Multiplayer racing, for instance, Driver Academy. So that's absolutely fine. And I do know that quite a few of you will have that opinion, and that's why you kind of loved Assetto Corsa in the first place. And then you've also got a swathe of people who feel a little bit misled, or a lot misled, because maybe bought the game based on the fact that there was going to be a sort of Gran Turismo-esque currency system with XP that maybe for the open world you could drive from one location to another and do delivery missions and make money, and then the money would allow you to buy a better car, and then a better car you could upgrade with parts that you had to earn money for. Like, I think there was all of these sorts of ideas and promises thrown around about what the game wanted to be, and I think a lot of people purchased it based on those things, which makes sense. But at the same time, it's early access, so you never know if that's ever going to actually happen. It's all just promises at the early stages and hopes of what it could become. But obviously, with the history of Kunos Simulazioni, I'd put a lot of trust in those developers. This Golf GTI is definitely a 1970s hatchback. Let's just say that straight away. It's absolutely, it's peak for its time, original hot hatch. But yeah, things have moved on with, let's say, tyre and suspension technology. So I do think that, I understand why people that have actually bought the game with this whole Gran Turismo style career mode in mind would be very frustrated by this. I'm fully on that train as well, because I want to see something like it's hard to say a Gran Turismo-esque experience, because that's just pigeonholing it as one game that we know is very good on console for other reasons. But yeah, just some sort of kind of immersive single-player campaign where I can drive road cars and be rewarded for good results, or for doing open world driving things, missions or whatever, and then having to save up to buy my dream car to be able to drive it eventually once I was there. Now that's a very different game to obviously what we've seen with Assetto Corsas in the past, and sort of hardcore simulations generally. You own the content, or you buy a car with real money, or just free included in the game, and you actually enjoy racing that car. You don't have to necessarily earn that car by driving other cars or driving slower cars to work up towards it. You can just oh well, I'm going to race in the Porsches today, so I'll race a Porsche. And maybe some online racing games have like a license system like iRacing, where you need to get your license to be able to actually race the faster cars and work your way through the series. That's a thing. And there are still career modes which are more kind of motorsport focused, where you start in the slower race cars and then win events to unlock bigger events and work your way up through the vehicles and stuff, rather than a money and XP system. So all of that could still be the case. But to have that sort of, that feeling of driving these road cars and earning your way to the faster stuff and eventually being able to buy the race cars and all this kind of stuff, that's the feeling that I think a lot of people were basically pinning their hopes on AC EVO on, because getting that experience but within a setting of realistic physics, that's a horrendous amount of understeer. Let's just pull that back round. Come on, Golf. Yeah, that's what, honestly, the road cars for me is what makes Assetto Corsa special. And obviously, I was a big fan of ACC. I know a lot of people, like, you know, there's also people that really didn't like ACC and the force feedback and everything, but I loved ACC for the ease of racing and the quality of the racing that I could have online in that game. But I also love original Assetto Corsa for the modability and for the sort of flexibility in terms of what you can drive and what you can do. And I think EVO is trying to sort of be both. But it still just isn't there yet, and that's the thing. We're getting all these promises, but we just haven't, it still hasn't turned into what it wants to be. And I know we're in early access, so that makes sense, but it's just a little bit messy, let's say. I love the stuff that Kunos Simulazione's done. I believe strongly in that team, and I think they're fantastic, so I will always be on the side of positivity and hope, and I'm sure Assetto Corsa EVO will flourish. It just needs an identity at this point, and obviously that's difficult to find right now with everything that's going on. 241.4, alright, 241.4 for the Golf. I'm going to write that down. That's a slow time for Watkins Glenn, isn't it? 241. Didn't realise Watkins Glenn was such a long circuit. This is not a very interesting bit. I don't have a Top Gear style chalk leaderboard or it's not chalk, you know, magnetic leaderboard, for instance. So bear with. We're going to do to the nearest 10th. We'll do the nearest 100th. 4-9. All right. Next, we're jumping in a rear-wheel drive car now, and it's one that I think a lot of people are excited to see. I might just drive the drift vehicle for a laugh. If there's a drift variant, that is. Let's see what we've got. So, the next car is a sim racing game icon. It's a Toyota. And it is the Sprinter Trueno 1600 GT Apex, basically the A86, a lot of people know it. And you can see the different variations we've got of this car. You've got the kind of I don't know how you pronounce that, but Kuki and Zenki GT Apex, kind of the standard fancy model. But you've also got the black limited edition as well. And then you've got a sort of faster. The Anime Tribute one seems to be rated 11.7, so it's got a little bit more performance potentially. All the rest of them are 9.9, so I think we go with the original, with the base model. There will of course be different configurations with this. I wonder if this top one's the drift one, actually. Maybe we drive the. Ooh. I'm looking at the performance stats or the difference there, and I'm thinking, oh, I wonder if this is the drift version. Tempting. Yeah, you know what? You guys also can try this if you play Assetto Corsa EVO. I'm just showcasing some of it and giving it a go. So I'm going to just pick this. Let's do it. We're going to add it to our collection, which we don't have to pay for anymore. This is, so again, I'm trying to cover so much while I'm chatting, and I'm aware that I'm kind of going to different places and back. But the other thing I wanted to say about that was the progression system and the excitement of like a monetary system where you can only drive slow cars to start with, and then sort of you have to build up to the you have to build up to the bigger cars. That only works if there's not also a very popular mode where you can drive any car for free. So like, because Assetto Corsa EVO was in early access, that sounded like a clutch was needed. Oh, that sounds good. Yeah, this is not a stock version. I think we might be in the drift version. And it sounds amazing. Okay, I'm distracted now by the sounds. Don't know if it's a full drift version, but we can slide it. And we've got 6 gears. Because there was also the open mode where you could drive every car for free anyway, and it was obviously in early access, so we didn't have a career mode yet properly. We had the idea of a money system in XP which you could build up, but we didn't actually have a kind of. I was trying to do a fancy slide there, and it was terrible. We haven't really been able to see that ever come to fruition. It means that, you know, the excitement wasn't really going to be there anyway, possibly, because we'd already been able to drive all of these cars for free anyway and very easily in open mode. So for a game like that to work well with a career mode, there's a lot of frame drops I'm getting here at certain corners. But for that sort of thing to work well, you kind of also need it to be the focus of the game. Because, you know, with online racing and everything, you can jump in any car that's eligible and race. So therefore, if you've got a game that has all this online racing where you can drive any car anytime, but you've also got this separate sort of building up your money to drive the faster cars, maybe it loses a lot of its impact. That's another argument you could make, because you can already drive them anyway. Which isn't the case on some of the games where it's just the career mode that's the focus, you know? I don't know. So much to look into. Yeah, the performance is really poor. I don't know why I'm getting frame drops at certain corners here. I will have a look at my graphic settings. This car is already an absolute hoot, as you can probably tell. Why are we struggling? Why are we struggling with performance? I'm running 4K, obviously, which is what I always run. Full screen mode is not on. It shouldn't really make a difference, to be fair. I'm sorry you're getting ads, Ibrahim. We've got our ad settings to low, so you should. I'm sorry if you're getting more than 0. Hey Tabs, how's it going? How is it going? Good to see you back on the stream. Yeah, that's how I feel as well. It might lose a little bit of the excitement of a game, you know, an old school game. But I'm maybe just reminiscing of when I was a kid. You know, some of these games like Gran Turismo, where I really had to earn my faster cars and it was exciting to drive them. It's maybe a bit different to that. I still think you can have both though, where if you really want to, you can jump in and do sim racing separately in the faster cars, but then have a career mode where you have to earn them. As long as the career mode was engaging enough, I can definitely do both. My general graphic settings are not set that high. It just seems like a specific issue with some corners. Anyway. Yeah, test drives are a thing as well. 100%. It's not like this is the thing. It's just I'm trying to look at it from like from lots of different perspectives. But it's definitely like the whole situation, because we never really knew what there was going to be in detail anyway. The whole situation is just very polarizing. Oh no. Right. One fast lap. Got to kind of guess where to brake. Bit early, but we're sliding, so it's fine. Can't get that cursor off the middle of the screen with my gloves on. Bit of a lift through there, bit of understeer. See how it tackles the chicane. Be interested to see if this is quicker than the Audi Quattro. These sorts of road cars, though, this is, as I've always said, whenever I've played AC EVO, this is where AC EVO shines. There's your frame drop into this corner. Come on. We're not getting golf understeer. We are getting quite a lot of understeer, but obviously I can use the throttle a little bit to try and get the rear coming round. Oh, it sounds so good. I'm not driving this as fast as I can, I'm aware of that, but when you're driving an A86, you don't drive it as fast as you can, you drive it as sideways as you can. Oh no. Bit of grass. It's been very scrappy. That car is not about lap time. But 210.8. And as soon as I finish the lap, I tend to lose gears. All right, that's fine. I did deserve that one, to be fair. 210.88 is the lap time. So I'm going to write that down. I kind of feel for the Golf here. Like the Golf Mark 1 GTI is an icon, an absolute icon, but it's gonna look so slow compared to everything else. I mean, great for online racing. I think that's gonna be fun. Someone else said earlier in the chat, and I didn't really acknowledge it, so I do apologize. I was doing a few different things at once, but I do believe, like, imagine it's like a lightweight class with a bunch of hot hatches. It was who was it? I don't know how it's pronounced. Diesel TT Drives. Auto. Diesel Auto Drives, I think it is. I do apologize. You said yes, and like a 106 or Saxos and stuff. Yeah, like a bunch of like little hot hatches from through the decades. That'd be a great fun online class to race, but also that'd be great for like a career mode building point. I'm going to stop talking about... Why am I talking about career mode? What career mode? There's still going to be career mode, guys. I'm going to make that very clear. There's still going to be career mode. We're going to find out more soon, I am sure. Because that's the main thing. We need to hear from the developers. We need to hear from Kunos Simulazioni. We don't have this anymore. We're changing the direction away from this, but what do we have? So yes, we're going to have more of a focus on the driver academy and other elements of the game that apparently is what the community wants. I think the community, depending on who you speak to, all want different things, and people are generally more vocal when they get told something they want isn't there. So it's really hard to judge. You need to do like a full analysis of everyone in the community that doesn't normally comment on things as well to see what people really want and don't want. It's a tricky balance. Either way, we need to hear what is actually on the cards now, what is coming. I'd love to hear what the initial vision really was for career mode. But more importantly, yeah, what's the alternative? What's next? I did say whether or not the question was going to be whether the Audi was quicker. The Sport Quattro. Looking at the stats, 12.1. It's pretty close, actually. Pretty close. You've got to love the Audi Quattro. It's just magnificent. Absolutely magnificent. The car born to rally, or at least was born to allow itself in different form to rally. Well, this is the other thing. Right, this is a great comment. If you tried the career mode, you know the AI is the problem. They drive on rails and push you off the track like you're not there. This is the thing. The AI was always an issue with the Assetto Corsa EVO. It still hasn't been fixed. It's been improved and changed and tweaked, but it's still fundamentally not a great experience racing against the AI on this game. And a big part of career mode would, of course, involve racing against AI cars. Not in, the free roam section, no, it's not going to matter. But for events and stuff, that maybe you drive to events or maybe you just take part in certain championships and events. The AI is very important, and that is a big point that a lot of people will not would not want to play career mode anyway if the AI was, you know, as bad as it was at times. Just curious to see if we can change compounds. We've got road tires. Yeah, we can put supercar tires on it. All right. We're leaving everything as stock and standard for the sake of this lap time leaderboard challenge. Right, guys, what do you think? Tom's here as well. Hey, Tom. Back from the long drive back from Glasgow. I hope it was a good drive. I hope there wasn't too much traffic, and I hope you're feeling good. I'm going to start a poll. Let me know which is faster, or which you think will be faster, the Audi or the A86. Let me know. So it's a 2 minute 10.88 is what the Audi's got to try and beat here, with my 1 lap showdown rules. Yeah, I know you're very, very busy. You're very busy. There's also a message for you in a Discord chat that you need to read. That I'm gonna flag in case you haven't seen it. Stuff's happening. Things are happening. But I hope you're awake anyway, Tom. Really enjoyed the show last night. Oh yes. Oh yes, here we go. Audi Quattro. This should have a good sound. You're already hearing the flutter. Excellent. Everyone's thinking the Audi. I mean, the Audi on paper, and to be fair, I was also sliding the A86 around a lot, so I wasn't exactly getting the lap time out of it. This Audi should be a little bit more hot lappable rather than just chuckable. Thanks, Tom. Through the chicane. Oh, yeah. Obviously, four-wheel drive, so it's going to keep me in check most of the time. I can be quite leery with it, but you're going to understeer a lot as well. And then this is where we always drop frames. It's very, very consistent, which is interesting. Certain parts of the track, look at that. Horrible chugginess. Very, very specific to this sector, which I do not understand. Oh. I'm very excited to drive the Caterham as well, because I think that is going to be pretty similar to what I was racing last year. Or not last year, now it's 2024 now, which is wild. Why am I not getting gears? I've got auto clutch on. I've got auto clutch on. If I lift the throttle, I mean, even with auto clutch, technically, even if you don't lift the throttle, you should get gears. I don't understand that. I do not understand it. The nature of automatic clutch. Maybe do I have to keep the throttle in for this car? It wouldn't make any sense. Nope, clearly not. Okay. I do not understand that. I really don't. If I've got an auto clutch assist on, surely the clutch is automatic. So if I lift off the throttle when I change gear, surely it shouldn't be. It should be doing it. I've never understood it. Again, I'm going to try one more time. So I've got all my pedals here: throttle, brake, pushing the clutch, which is I promise you it's working on my software, so I know it's there, and I'm just getting nothing. I will try as Mark suggested, turning off the auto clutch and going into the window, but I don't think that should make a difference. I don't get it. Yeah, I did see that, Tabs. Thank you. Mark said it earlier. I'm going to try it. No? Oh, okay. Do we not want to change? Okay. So it won't let me... Oh, now it will. Interesting. I was clicking that. You probably heard it on the UI. I was clicking it for ages and it wasn't doing anything. We'll try automatic clutch off just to see. so confusing at times. It really is. I was just sitting there clicking it and nothing was happening. And then clicking it some more, still nothing happening. Click some other button, still nothing happening. Oh, now it works. This should not work. This should not make a difference, but it might. No. And I've done a full game reset and everything. Very confusing. Okay, well, if that's the case, I definitely cannot assign a clutch. Therefore, automatic clutch should provide my clutch. Maybe, I think it's also a thing of H pattern shifters. Like if I go sequential instead, right? I know it's not as authentic, which is unfortunate. But at the end of the day, it doesn't make a difference to you guys really watching and seeing the car. It just makes me better at changing gear. So maybe we'll change to sequential, and that should, in theory, for whatever reason, make the game not try and break the gearbox. Maybe? Ah, okay, VK. That would make sense. That would make sense. Abraham, I could plug the pedals in and out again. I will consider in future. But again, as I say, it's clearly working. So that's what I don't understand about it. It's clearly there on my PC. It's there. So, but we will definitely try that at some point if the problem persists. Okay, so let's go sequential then. And then we shouldn't hopefully have these issues. There we go. Wow, it's already bound. Okay, we're good. We're good. Anyway, 74% of you think the Audi's going to be faster. So that's a clear challenge that it would be embarrassing if I don't do this. Did I disable Steam input for the game? Good question. Probably. No, no sequential? No? I'm so confused. I am so confused. Let's try and actually bind them again. Apply. Gears? No, no gears. So I have to use an H pattern, but I've got no clutch. I have no idea. No, okay. So apparently it's locking me into the H pattern because the car requires an H pattern. But then when I go H pattern, oh, now I've got no H pattern. Oh no. Oh, now we've got H pattern. Okay. So when I'm stationary, I can change gears with that. That's fine. But I've got no clutch, and apparently auto clutch doesn't work. When I'm stationary, I cannot use the sequential. I cannot use the paddles, even though they're assigned. So it's obviously because this car is an H pattern naturally. All right. So we're going to have to use H pattern with auto clutch and just hope. And maybe be a bit careful on the gear changes. Nope. That doesn't work either. I am flummoxed. I am so flummoxed. Now I can't even get first with H pattern. But like, so I'm just wanting to show you as well. If I go to the shifter here, and I go into this menu, right? First gear, second, third, fourth. There's no issues. Everything fourth, third, fifth, sixth. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Fourth, third, fourth, third. There's none of these inputs are in any way delayed or slow, so there's clearly, the game is getting the information. This is what I'm confused about. Finding new ways to break the gearbox. At this point, I just want to drive the car, though. Like, I don't want to go automatic. And then, but the thing is, I know that we're going to drive cars in a second that are sequential and shifter cars, so therefore, we're not going to have to think about this. It should just work. At the moment, I'm just going to do massive lifts. Maybe that's it. Maybe it is realistic, and I just need to do big lifts. We've got gears for the moment. Right, and go. Come on, Audi, you can do a lap. It does feel a bit ridiculous. Oh, the shakedown's on. Cheers, Ibrahim. I will need to watch that later on. The other thing that's a bit strange is I didn't seem to have these problems as much with the previous two cars. Like I was doing the same thing, but I could change gears a bit quicker. So I don't know why in this car specifically it just doesn't want to take gears. Third, no. Don't want to take any gears. Second, no. Nah. Oh. I mean, I try so hard. I try so hard to love you, Evo. Oh, pain. I want a lap time. Okay, 1 lap with auto gearbox. I'm sorry, I've got to do it. I do not have the time. I don't want to spend 2 hours on stream trying to work out what on earth's going on with this. So I'm going to stick on auto for 1 lap in this car, and then I think every other car. The BMW should be paddles, should be sequential, I think. The M2. We've got 7 cars. This is only car 3. Okay, should be automatic gears. Oh wait, did I not apply them? Hang on. Did I not apply it? Sorry, guys. It's not gone auto, so maybe I didn't click apply. Is there even an apply button? No, there's not. Automatic gearbox on. Okay. Auto ignition is on. Auto gearbox is on. We'll put automatic pit limiter on. Automatic clutch is on. Automatic clutch start. Standing start assist. Automatic throttle blip. Let's turn everything on except the ideal line and stability control. Okay, there's no... I'm not seeing any buttons here. There's none underneath my face. Everything is on. Automatic gearbox on. Start session. Drive. No? Right. A lap in the Audi Quattro then. Can I change my vote? Yeah, sure. I've seen the advice. I mean, it shouldn't come down to this. Let's be real. This is not how it should be. But let's see if this works. If I have nothing bound, maybe the pain will stop. Or maybe a sequential will work. Right, this is the last try. This is the last try. Okay. Some feedback there for Kunos. That's not good. Please fix that. So we're driving in auto, but it seems like then... So to be honest, if I just unbind the H-pattern shifter, we should be able to do sequential. So that should be absolutely fine. So, I mean, I'm not going to keep messing around with this Audi. Let's just get a lap in before it kills me. But for the other cars, we'll just bind the sequential, and then it should be fine. Thank you so much. It shouldn't come to this, let's be real, but I appreciate your help because for the sake of the lap time board. Bit of a downshift. I also want to know, guys, and you can leave this comment on our recent podcast if you want, because I know that, again, the YouTube chat's not great for leaving kind of long comments about anything like this, but I want to know what you want to see from an Assetto Corsa career mode and the free roam as well, or what you want to see within that. Those two separate things that are also potentially intertwined. What do you want to see that doesn't involve XP and doesn't involve currency? That's what I want to know. Like, if you're still on the positive hype train for this game in terms of, you know, if you agree with the decision of dropping career mode, is it, or sorry, if you agree with the decision of dropping currency and XP, is it because you don't care at all about that stuff and you'd rather just focus on like modding and you'd rather focus on multiplayer development and other areas and you don't care about career? Or is it because you don't care about AI and you think it's rubbish? Or is it because you think that there's another way of doing a fun career mode with this game that doesn't involve currency and XP, right? That's what I want to know. And you can leave us a comment in this YouTube stream if it's long enough, or if the comment's short enough. But at the same time, you can also check out our latest podcast episode where we talk specifically about career modes in racing games and Assetto Corsa EVO and the recent announcement, and you can leave a comment on that too. We've also got a Discord server, and there's a link in the description for how to get involved in Discord, and I want to hear your thoughts on there as well. I'm just really, really curious to know, like, what do people feel right now about this? Because I'm obviously seeing a lot of angry folk saying, I want a refund, and this is not what was promised, which I can't argue with that at all, because that is exactly what the game was sold on many aspects. But also, I see comments of people being like, everyone needs to calm down, this is absolutely fine, and it's a good decision, they're focusing on the important stuff. Okay, Audi through the chicane. I can do some forced shifting myself as well on the downshifts just to get the revs, so I think we are going to beat the AE86 after all of that, and then we'll finally get some of the other cars. The more exciting stuff. This Quattro, again, is another example of, like, I love road cars on EVO. I think they're amazing. I think that's the strength. I love the Audi Quattro. I love rallying. I love Group B rallying. All of that is amazing. But a Group B sort of homologation road car that's four-wheel drive around a big circuit, in a hot lap sense, is not necessarily the most exciting drive, I'll be honest. I love the Quattro so much, but I'm not sitting here going, wow, this is the car I want to be driving for lap after lap. We've got so many other options that I think will be more exciting. What I'm really curious to see, though, is we'll obviously close in the final four cars. I want to see whether the Caterham is quicker than the Porsche. I think that's a big question for me. Porsche's a lot more expensive, a lot more powerful, but also the Caterham will be super lightweight. That's going to be fascinating. I think the Porsche will have it, but I'm curious. But we'll talk more about those cars in a minute. Let's get this cursed Audi and its cursed gearbox out of the way. Oh, it's going to be close, you know. That's slower. 212.4. I think you were wrong in general. Well done to the 25% of you who got it right. I know I am a variable, so it's maybe, you know, you could blame me, and that's totally fine. But the Tirreno was a 210.88. The Quattro 212.4. So I've already got my order wrong, but to be fair, I did drive the kind of tuned Torino. So that's, I'll take it. But yeah, 212.40 for the Audi. So that is, hang on, write this down. Yeah, that's 1.5 seconds slower. There you go. And we'll do more driving, I promise, because we'll get this stupid thing sorted with the gears. See you, Ibrahim. Thank you so much for joining as well. It's been a while since we've seen you. Always appreciate your support. So I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much. BMW next. This is a really good one. So this is going to be a hoot to drive. M2 Coupe, obviously the kind of facelifted recent M2. The G87. You've got the Coupe and then the Coupe M Performance, which is a different trim. Still 14.0 on the kind of, let's say, performance stat, which is interesting. But I'm pretty sure, yeah, that one's got a wing and everything on it. So yeah, we'll drive the performance mode. Why not? I think this is going to be pretty quick, this M2, and I think it's going to be so much fun. Oh, hang on. No, don't start the session. Let's turn auto. Let's fix this. So auto gearbox off. We'll keep auto pit limiter on, to be fair. Auto clutch stays on. We'll take off the throttle blip. All the rest of it's fine. What I need is just to assign basically get the paddles working properly. Yeah, the exhausts are beautiful. Okay. We're straight in this time. And I'm hoping this just works. Yes, okay. I think we're good. And let's turn the traction control. Okay, I'll leave it on for the part of the outlap to see how it feels on default, and then we'll wind it down. Okay, immediately I turn into the first corner and it's like, I can feel all of the systems working to keep me in place, which in real life, if you're on a track day, if you're an enthusiast on a track day, you don't want to bin your new M2, probably a good thing. And it would still be a whole heap of fun, but I can feel it fighting against me straight away. How are the brakes? And I'm not going to do a poll about this one, because we know it's going to be quicker. The question is, how close is it to the likes of the Porsche and the Caterham? Right, electronics are making this good but boring, so let's get through Laggy Lane, which is I'm renaming this section of track. Okay. TC's going off, and now it should turn into a lot of fun. All right, let's get it tipped in, and then power on. Third gear straight away. Yeah. Okay. Immediately, rear comes around. I might end up having to do 2 laps in this because I can't help myself. Let's just see. Whoa, 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 whoa. It was fine until it wasn't. And again, that's kind of... Those 2 sections of track are the worst for it, for whatever reason. It's this run up the hill. You can see it, it's just chugging away. I hope you can see that anyway on the stream, just so you don't think I'm talking nonsense, but... Everywhere else seems fine. It's just there's like 2 or 3 areas of the circuit where it just drops to like 35, 40 FPS maybe. And I'm on my own right now, which is concerning. So it's just a weird track-specific optimization issue by the looks of it. Maybe a game reset will fix it. Yeah, you can see it. Cool. All right, good to know. Let's do a lap then. In the BMW, traction off. We'll have a bit of fun. The brakes are better than I'm giving them credit for. I want to test the track limits later as well, the new system. Bit of a lift through there. And again, just a little bit too much power, more power than grip to be able to be completely flat through there. I'm sure you could do it flat if you get the line spot on and the weight transfer, everything happening at the right moment. But right now, that's not happening. So, a little bit of a lift. Late on the brakes for the chicane. Tip it in, 4th gear. Actually, might need 3rd. Bit of throttle to get the rear round. I'm actually... Oh, big snap. Oh no, we're gonna have to do a second lap. What a shame. Through sluggish sector. Or laggy lane, was it? Right, I'm gonna... I think sometimes when these cars are the rear-wheel drive, proper powerful things, I start trying to... almost trying to drive it like I'm filming a Top Gear segment and I need to create tire smoke, rather than just, you know what, try and drive it quickly and just let it slide when it needs to. It's definitely third gear. Second gear's... There's the... Again, frame drops. Second gear's just a bit too short for this track, so it's mainly third, but you've got a lot of torque, so you can actually get the power down in third quite nicely. Again, huge. This is going to be so much fun to race this car. Every time I drive these road cars, I'm like, oh wow, yeah, a proper race with people of a similar skill level in these would just be so much fun as like a daily race. What I want to see, I don't know if it's possible. It is stuttering, yeah. Yeah, what? This is the brand new update, Thierry. Welcome along. Good to see you. I'm going to try and do a clean lap now. What I would like to see, and I'm guessing it's just not that simple, but... .205.0. What I want to see is maybe a sort of career mode that is actually online focused. So like, imagine a career mode where you own a car from a certain category. So you own, say you buy the Mark 1 Golf, right? And it's got a performance rating. It's got a, whatever it is, 7.1, or what's the Golf's rating? Something poor. I think it's this 8.2, right? And then you can enter it in an online category or an online class called the, you know, the Hot Hatch Trophy, right? And it's only eligible for cars that are front-wheel drive or hatchbacks, or, you know, maybe it's a certain criteria for the car, whether it's maybe power or power to weight or drivetrain or something, like a kind of Gran Turismo, almost not Sunday Cup, because a Golf GTI Mark 1 would be too good for the Sunday Cup, I would imagine. More like a Clubman Cup. And then you race online in that category in your car. And yes, other people's cars might be faster. They might have tuned them. They might have bought a faster car than yours. But you get credits and money, some form of progressive resource, by completing the race. If you drive safely, if you drive cleanly, if you do a good job, regardless of your result, you get some reward for that. But if your result is good, you get more of a reward. Maybe even if you get a certain number of wins in a category, you get a prize, like a car or a part or something, right? So it's essentially a daily race portal, but each daily race, instead of being like daily race A, daily race B, and daily race C, they're categorized by series. Now, obviously this gets problematic later on, but we'll come back to that. So I want to see a career mode where you do that. You do your race. You get your money. You maybe don't do very well at first because you're in a Mark 1 Golf GTI with no upgrades and you're tootling around at the back, but you're getting more money because you're being safe and you're getting through it all. And the early upgrades are quite cheap, so therefore it doesn't matter that you're tootling around at the back. You have enough money to maybe buy an exhaust, maybe upgrade your suspension, or do something, give your tires a little bit more grip, buy a better compounded tire, something like that. Or eventually you maybe have enough money to buy a better hot hatch. So you do that, you save up, you get it, and now you've had all the practice. You're good at driving, you're getting better, you're racing cleanly, but now also you have a bit more pace, so you can actually get better results. And once you've gotten certain results, or a certain threshold of event numbers or whatever sort of resource I'm talking about here, you can then either win or buy a car in the next category, or, you know, you can choose what path to take depending on what sort of races you want to do. Like, that's a very early idea, but something building from that point. So essentially like a career mode that's got its races based in online play, but then the other elements of it are sort of builder elements to offline. A little bit like what Formula 1... It's a terrible example. F1 World, which I don't think it wasn't the greatest, isn't the greatest. It's like a kind of mobile feel to it, but something where, yeah, you can race against other people online with their cars and you're in your cars and all that. all fine. But there's actually meaning to it, actually progression to it. The problem comes, of course, with that. The problem will come when you then go to the higher races and the higher performance cars, and there's not enough people in the races, and you can't get a race because it's career mode-y, so people aren't, you know, it's maybe not as efficient a way of doing daily races. And then you've got a problem because you're further into the career, but not enough people are on your level, so you can't have a good race, and then it falls on its face. So at that point, what you need is an option to then do the same thing offline. So like, yes, I can do it as an online career, and I can do all of that, but if the servers are too quiet, or if I choose to anyway, maybe I don't want to do it online, I can also do an offline variant where it's AI, and yes, it might not be great. Well, obviously, you'd hope the AI to be as good as possible, but that gives you the flexibility to go, right, I'll do an online career, but offline when I need to. Maybe that's a terrible idea. I don't know. But that sounds fun to me. I would like to build up my world within an online environment. I think that'd be cool. We'll start a GoFundMe. If you're going to pre-order it, let me know. I think the Caterham has got to be next. Hang on. I've done that thing again, haven't I? It's in my I'm just going, where's the Caterham? There it is. It's the 485 CSR. More powerful than the Caterham Academy. 13.8 performance points, or whatever you want to call them. Now, this Caterham has a 2-litre Ford Duratec engine, producing around about 220 horsepower. Oh, I like that. Now, a couple of years ago, when I was competing in the Westfield, it also had a 2-litre Duratec engine, very similar body style to a Caterham. Basically, it's a kit car, a 7 style kit car. But it had 280 or 270 horsepower because it was a tuned 2-litre Duratec. So this car shouldn't be as quick. It's also not on slicks. Maybe we can put slicks on it. Let's see what it does. But I want to see how this feels, because the Westfield was amazing to drive, so quick, unbelievably fun. But actually, I say it was on slicks. I wasn't on slicks. I was on road tires. I'm talking nonsense. Some people put them on slicks, but we were on road tires. So this is going to be like a slightly less powerful version of the Westfield I was racing, but it'll still be quick. We've got supercar tires. Yeah, that's what we were on essentially, kind of performance-focused sports tires. All right. So this should be fun. I've got quite a big steering wheel, so I'm used to a very small steering wheel with these kind of things, but let's see. Let's get the sequential shifter. I don't know if this Caterham is paddles by standard or sequential. I'm going to guess it's sequential. Our one was a sequential box. And if you want to see... Oh, see you later, Thierry. Thank you so much for dropping by. If you want to see how that car actually looked on track and how leery it was to drive, you can check out the John Munro Racing YouTube channel, and you'll see the onboards from the previous set of onboards that I did, which is probably the last YouTube videos I uploaded, to be fair. We're on board the Westfield, and you'll see how much of a hoot it actually was. Oh, that's white. Okay. So it's... I can tell you about the sound of the Duratec. Pretty good. Quite raspy. Doesn't sound quite as angry as the one we had. Now I'm actually thinking, because Watkins Glen is quite a power circuit, obviously we're going to be quick through the corners, but the BMW actually is going to be... Ooh. Let's get up to speed first, shall we? And actually get comfortable with this. The BMW's going to be a lot more grunty, actually, in reality, because it's got a lot of power. So maybe actually we're more looking at the BMW's times than we were at the Porsche. I ended up just doing one lap in the BMW because we figured it took so long to get a lap in the Audi with the gearbox issues. Oh yes, okay. It won't let me counter steer very quickly, which is interesting. I am having an issue with that, in general. Maybe it's a force feedback setting, but I'm finding that once I get a proper big snap, it is very hard to recover from. So you've kind of got to keep it quite neat and tidy, which is not how I like to drive these things, but hey-ho. Yeah, so I've not driven the Caterham specifically, Mark, but I've driven a Westfield that's very similar. With this engine, but with an extra 60 horsepower, basically, and similar tyres. But it was still road legal. People are really going to struggle to get the hang of this car, though, because it's so flighty and snappy. And obviously that means you can, if you set it up well and it's comfortable, you can really get some good lap time out of it. But it's going to take some getting used to because it's so sensitive. And once you start sliding, it's because it's so light, it can just go very, very quickly. Yeah, I need a bit of time to see, Mark, if it feels realistic. But so far it's, I mean, the Westfield was probably, on the road tyres anyway, it was probably the most difficult race car I've ever competed in. To, like, I say difficult, it was super natural. Like, I could slide it very, very comfortably, and I was literally like flooring it out of the corners. The rear end was all over the place. You'll see it from the onboards. But at the same time, it was also a car where I did make a couple of mistakes. I think I had a few. I don't think I had any spins. Did I have any spins? I'm not sure I had a spin in it, but I did have a few moments where it actually scared me a little, and I went like that, you know, like a big snap. I did have a few of those in the Westfield, which I'd not had as many of in other cars with more downforce and grip, or like other cars with less downforce and less grip, but also just less flighty. So it was a tricky beast, and this is a tricky beast. But this is harder right now to get this around safely, I think, than the Westfield I was competing in. I'm struggling with this a bit more. Oh dear, yeah, too hot. I was also, bearing in mind, competing around mainly like smaller circuits and stuff, so it was like, generally speaking, the Sprint Championship, a lot of the events are kart tracks and things like that, and dedicated sprint courses rather than big circuits. So the only big circuit, there was 2 big circuits I drove the Westfield around, and that was Aintree, which is 3 corners, the old Aintree, and also Anglesey as well. But Anglesey was a nightmare because we had a massively slipping, with a clutch issue. So it was I am plagued with gearbox and clutch issues, it seems, but it was slipping all the way. So you hear it in the onboard from the Anglesey videos that even in 3rd or 4th or 5th gear, it doesn't really matter. I'm just slipping all the way. So we didn't really have a great time, but I mean, I was still able to throw the car around. I had a blast. Right, 209.3. So it is slower than the BMW. So that is, I honestly didn't. I thought it might be close, but I thought the Caterham would have it. So that's twice now I've been wrong in terms of my order. But now that these cars are a bit quicker and a bit more enjoyable, I'm going to try and do a second lap, just with a bit more knowledge of it. Easy flat, unlike the BMW through this section, but then, I say easy flat, look at that. As soon as we got on the curb a bit too, actually got flighty. Absolutely no saving it, so there you go. 1 lap it is. 209.33. So the BMW was a 205, and I had a bit of an incident on that lap. So the BMW is considerably quicker around Watkins Glen than the Caterham. So the Porsche is going to be a lot quicker. Hang on, all vehicles. There it is. The rating is crazy. I maybe overestimated the Caterham's performance, actually, in general. I don't know what I was. Maybe I was picturing it on slicks, or I was picturing it with. Maybe I'm thinking of a 300 horsepower edition, because you do get them with 300 horsepower. But around a power circuit like that, it really does struggle for speed. But it's just, you know, so much potential in the corners if you can tame it a little bit. Yes, please, give me the 911. So this is our 6th new car now. So we've only got 1 to go after this one, guys, and then we'll see if there's any online races. I am also aware that we haven't seen Paul Ricard yet, so I do want to show that a little bit. Let's just see what this Porsche will do. Can I put on stability? Yeah, I can put on stability. I'm going to try this. Do you mean stability in terms of like the game, the assist from the main menu? This Porsche is going to be sub 2 minutes, I reckon. I'm not on the Simulcube 3 right now, Mark. I'm actually on the Simulcube 2 right now because I was doing some rally stuff, and I've got the kind of, it's not even a round wheel, but it's a D-shaped wheel on the Simulcube 2. So Simulcube 2 went on, and then since then I've been absolutely flat out with a couple of different games that have not involved the Simulcube, and then I've basically not had the chance to switch it back over. But for this video, it actually works probably better because I think every single car I've driven so far has a roundish shaped wheel. Maybe the final car, which we're going to get to next, is different. I'm not sure. Right, I mean the Porsche, look how sophisticated this is. It's like a race car. Just no fuss. Sticks to the road like glue. Any other good names for laggy lane? Stuttering sector. Can't think of anything beginning with R. Yeah, because the Simulcube 3 and the Simulcube 2 have different quick release systems. So I'm essentially, if I switch to the Simulcube 2 base, I then can choose. I've got a couple of wheel rims. I've got the Mercedes F1 wheel and this Valo GT, which have the Simulcube 2 quick release systems on them. So I can just fire. You know, I can choose between the two of them, which means I can race across different disciplines and quickly switch. Whereas the Simulcube 3 at the moment, I've only got the one wheel for it, which is the kind of Formula style or GT style Savu, which is lovely, absolutely lovely. It's a super wheel and a super base as well, which I'll talk about in our Simulcube 3 review, which is coming up at some point. But it's a different quick release system, so I can't just put a Simulcube 2 compatible wheel on that wheelbase. You need more of the quick releases, and I don't have them at the moment, so we'll sort that, I'm sure, at some point, or we'll work all of that out. But yeah, it's at the moment it's been some wheelbase switching, and then I did a Gran Turismo stream a few weeks ago, and for that one, obviously none of the Simulcube stuff works because it's PC only, so I had to switch to the Fanatec. So I've had 3 different wheelbases on the rig, kind of changing between the 3 of them over the last month or so, which has been fun. And they all have slightly different seating positions, slightly different mounting positions required, different distances. So this one's a bit higher up. I tried changing the angle of this base this morning before the stream started while I was waiting for the update to come, and I've actually chewed the screw that I need to take out, so I wasn't able to actually adjust it. So I think we're permanently at this angle. I would need to adjust the whole rig again, and I've actually just got it perfect for the Simulcube 3. So I'm just going to cope with it. It's just a little bit higher than I'm used to, but that's fine. We can work around that. I've not touched the traction control on this Porsche. I'm driving it completely as it comes, and it's feeling really nice. Very safe, very solid. I'm going to have fun with the traction control off in a second. No, Mark, no, absolutely not. No silencing. There was an initial embargo on reviews for the Simulcube 3, and the review initially they were pushed back. So there was like, we obviously did our little preview video where we were able to show the wheelbase, but at that point I hadn't even tried it. We weren't able to actually try it. So there were, as always with these things, nothing abnormal at all. 154.4, that's crazy. Nothing abnormal at all, but there were stages to this process, and the review was maybe later than people expected initially. But no, there's absolutely none of that. Simulcube are great to work with. I think if you've seen some of the reviews that have gone out, like Dan Suzuki did a review and he had issues, and he talked about some of those issues, and then he was able to solve some of those issues very quickly afterwards. I think some people just decided to try and solve the issues first before, like seeing what was going on. And I had a few issues myself, I'll be honest, with the Simulcube 3 at first, which I will of course talk about in the review. But Simucube, so then I was in contact with Simucube. I said, listen, I've got some of these issues. I don't know if this is the base, if it's an issue with this, or if it's completely unrelated. But I don't want to do a review with this thing happening right now. So I spoke to them, and then they were great. I got support with what I needed, worked out where the issues were lying, whether it was, you know, what issues were maybe related, what issues were completely unrelated to do with other things entirely. And I just wanted to give I wanted to give the product a fair go, with the caveats, of course, of the context that. You know, I've kind of worked through some of these things, so I am now in a position where I'm happy that I know and understand everything that's going on with it, and everything's good. So we will get there. Oh wow, big snap! I don't even know. Honestly, I wasn't paying enough attention to know what was happening there. This Porsche is really nice though. So that was with traction control on 1, I think, and it was still pretty manageable right up until the point where I kind of stopped concentrating there, and I don't even know what I did. I just suddenly realized that I was turning into the corner and I was losing the rear. So the other reason, by the way, guys, the reason that I'm holding back on some of these things as well until these issues are sorted is because we had a very early unit. So like we got sent the Simucube 3 as part of the kind of, you know, the pre-release process, and those units were updated and changed after the fact. So we were sent it, then there was some software changes and some other stuff. I think maybe Simucube sent things a little bit too early before they really had it all finalized. Maybe that was the issue. I don't know, but it means that like the product that launches is already a little bit different to the units that were sent out initially. So therefore there were some things where it was like, oh well, you know, we've done this to the main one and that's now made that better, but maybe for your one it's like we need to do something slightly different, so then that takes a little bit of time as well. So that's just wanted to be clear with that as well. There's nothing strange or nefarious going on, and I'm sure I don't know how many people obviously will be doing Simucube 3 reviews. There are a few out there, and there maybe are a few that are still to be made like mine, I don't know. But I also think there are certain wheelbases and stuff where I don't think it's a bad thing either to wait 6 months. And you know, if you're actually using a wheelbase a lot, you'll learn a lot about it using it for more time, because quite often if you're trying to do a review under an embargo and it's a quick process, you do kind of have to rush through it a little bit, and you try and learn as much as possible in a short space of time. You still have to test it, you have to get it working, you have to install everything, you have to learn all the software, you know, try all the different changes, try it on different games. It's a huge process, and if you try and do that quickly, and then you have to actually write the review and form your opinions and make sure it's concise and check your facts and get the pricing and get all the information sorted, and then if it's a video you're doing, you have to edit the video, film the video. There's like so many stages to a review that if you're going to do a review on an embargo, you have to be so efficient with it, and you have to try, you know, you can only try so much, and you do as much as you can. You want to spend weeks or you know, at least a week really with a product to be able to actually get a proper flavor for it. But then there's also an argument for, yeah, let's actually just use it properly in in real life for 2 or 3 months, and then see if anything changes, see how it actually is over time, see what things begin to annoy you, etc. So there's all sorts of different levels to it. And I've at least got a really good flavour now of the Simucube 3 because I've used it quite a lot, and you've seen it on streams and stuff. That's what's that, 54.2? I know I did extra laps there, but the Porsche just felt easy to do extra laps. 54.2. Okay, so that was, as I suspected, under the 2-minute mark, but significantly under the 2-minute mark. I wonder if it'll put the Dallara under pressure. I don't know. The Dallara is a track car, but that 911 is unbelievably fast. Have you got your... Oh, yeah, Mark, you've got an SC3. Amazing. Right, so you've had no issues, right? Or have you had... I mean, 10 out of 10, that's super. Like, I would love to hear if you had any issues. I mean, obviously, there's a Discord server, and there's support in there, and I just think that I want to hear from folk that have ordered a proper unit and gotten a unit after the process, if that makes sense. Not a pre-release unit like a lot of the reviewers have got. But I love it. I think it feels amazing. So all very positive. I've had issues even on stream before. Like, I don't know if any of you were here for the last AC EVO stream we did when 0.4 launched, but I was having some really strange issues with a surging and a force feedback thing. I've solved all of that. Like, I don't have that anymore. And there was actually two separate things going on that day, and out of my control, but one of them I've learned what was causing it, and that's a setting you can change, and it's to do with the Assetto Corsa. It's not to do with anything else. And then the second one was just some sort of issue that I've managed to not have again since, in terms of the actual inertia that was happening, some weirdness. So all of that's better now. So I do want to drive the Dallara, but very quickly I'm going to honour the comment that asked to see the Caterham with the stability control on a little bit, just because I am still having some issues, despite what I've literally just said. I am still finding that, like, when the car snaps in AC EVO fully, and the Caterham obviously is a snappy car, it's very hard to catch it, and I will quite often in this game, for some reason, I almost feel like I'm pushed to overcorrect it. Like, either it goes a bit numb and a bit funny or heavy, or it just it rotates back the other way too quickly. And I completely understand that cars snap, and naturally, like, drivers spin in those situations, right? I'm going to try like 15% stability control just to give you an idea. I'm sorry, I've forgotten the name of the person who commented, so apologies, but thank you for asking to do that, and I'll show you what it feels like. So yeah, like, yes, you can spin like that in real life, absolutely, and you can have these snaps, and it can be quite rapid. But as I say, I spent a lot of time in that Westfield, absolutely throwing it at corners, drifting out of corners and stuff, and it's far easier to spin this Caterham straight away in this game than it ever was to spin the Westfield, even though No, did I spin that? I don't even know if I spun the Westfield. I don't think I did. I definitely went off in the Westfield, locked up and went straight on. I don't think I spun, but I came close. But they're always catchable slides. This is just a little bit more icy, let's say. But also the Westfield I'm racing is like, it's set up for the track and everything, and that's with more power as well, bear in mind. But it's maybe more focused, whereas this is a little bit more kind of, I was going to say road safe, but even then, that would be the opposite. So I'm talking rubbish. Ignore me. Ignore me. Oh, that's good to hear, Mark. That's really good to hear. Tabs, that is, it completely depends. Generally speaking, yes, but it completely depends on the agreements with different manufacturers. And like for us, for example, in Traction, we haven't done many hardware reviews recently, to be fair. It was more of a thing back in the day, but it's not always, because your job is obviously to review all these different bases, you can never try lots. You can only try them for certain amounts of time, and then you're moving on to trying a different one or all this. It's like a professional, what's the word I'm trying to think of here? You're reviewing it in a professional capacity for a website, for a YouTube channel, and you're obviously treating that as very professionally, but then you're moving on to the next product and then the next product, or you're going back to something else. So you end up actually wishing you could send stuff back and get rid of stuff, and sometimes you do send stuff back, sometimes you don't. It very much depends what's happening, but it's very much part of that process for like any product that's launching, to like any games as well, with game codes and stuff like that. They will go to certain outlets or individuals or people to do, to be allowed to review it, and under embargo or whatever it is. And obviously from the point of purchase where it's available publicly, anyone can then do things with it, right? Like as soon as the product becomes available to purchase, anyone can buy one and review it. So it just depends on whether you're one of the people that was asked if you wanted to be sent one for review in advance under embargo, or if you do it at the time. I would absolutely, yeah, no, I completely understand that. Yeah, it's just that you will, I can't explain it, but when you're doing it as like a job, and you're trying so many different things all the time, it's not, like, I would also just love to be able to give away all of the stuff to everyone, right? That would also be great, but that also comes with complications, and it's not necessarily what you can do, because maybe, for instance, you might be reviewing a wheelbase, and then the problem is then that the person who gave you the wheelbase to review might also want you to review a steering wheel, or ask if you want to review a steering wheel. So then you need to, you have to hang on to the base so that when you get the steering wheel, you've still got the base to work on. And there's so many compatibility issues with all these things. When you're trying 8 different manufacturers, different pedals, different steering wheels, different bases, all these sorts of things, you're constantly switching things, and this doesn't work with this quick release is different, that pedal doesn't, you know, it needs to be connected to the wheelbase for it to work, or yes, it works on USB, but then that doesn't work. It's a complicated business, so it becomes very difficult when you run out of space to store lots of different things. But with reviews and stuff, like, it's so I completely understand as well why you would say it's hard to be completely objective. That is your job, right? So if I was not completely objective and I was just excited, I was like, oh, if I'm nice about all of this, we'll get sent more stuff. A, that's not how it works, but B, like, the reviews would all be disingenuous and people would see through that. And I just don't think it would work. I just don't think it would work. But I'm sure it's possible. Some people might do that. But the thing is, it's my job to be professional. Like, it's my job when I'm reviewing stuff, and the same with my colleagues. It's all of our jobs to be as completely objective and completely professional. We don't accept things, you know, we don't. There are things a lot of things we don't accept to review in the first place. But whenever we do a review, there is no influence. You know, we will and we always say this with all of our reviews and stuff. And we've got an editorial policy, but we will never ever let any manufacturer have an influence on what's said in the review. We will do it completely from our own opinions, and if it's bad, it's bad, and if it's good, it's good, and that will be that. But obviously, within that, we'll still talk to the developer. Like, if there's an issue with a product, we'll still try and understand, okay, what is the issue? Is it something that is going to be an issue for more people? You know, how have you solved it? All of these things, and that all gets then taken into account for the review. But it's genuinely just a trust thing, honestly. You have to take a decision to trust me when I review a product, that my review is genuine and that you believe what I'm saying. But that's why I saw some great advice in the comments. Never just watch one review of anything. Like, if you're skeptical that everyone is authentic and everyone is telling the truth and being completely objective all the time, definitely always watch multiple reviews. And be very careful as well. There's a difference between an ad and a review. Like, there will be reviews that say they're reviews, but then you might see some text in the description or the title that says #ad or something like that. That's very, very different if someone's paid to endorse something or try it than when someone is sent something in a professional capacity to review, and they might have been provided with the product or the code, but then if it's a review, everyone's got their own sort of, there are legal things to follow, and, you know, that's then down to the person to have integrity, essentially. Generally speaking, hardware has been really good in recent years. Oh, cheers! Thanks for sharing that, Oz. So we've always said, like, that's one thing, we will never ever in Traction, we never have and we never will accept any form of money or any sort of payment or anything in the context of a review or anything relating to a review. So there will never be a sponsored review in any way. It will be if we ever do sponsored content, and we have done the odd bit of sponsored content, it's always very, very clearly marked, whether it's the website or videos. And we'll obviously put mid-rolls in videos and things like that, and we've got affiliate links and things. But for reviews and stuff, we've always kept that completely separate, and it's like absolutely no-go for reviews. It needs to be 100% nothing, no influence for that whatsoever, or else we can't call it a review. Yeah, so with a bit of stability control, I think I've got, 15% on? And suddenly, the Caterham is still very lively, and you're still seeing me slide it around, but it's a lot more manageable. And I'm going to say something that might sound controversial right now. This actually feels more realistic right now to drive than it did previously. And I say realistic, that's maybe not fair, but just like the experience of lapping this is more authentic to my experience of driving the Westfield, in terms of how on the edge it is and how scary it is and how much I need to kind of manage the throttle and manage my steering inputs. Like, it still bites you and it's still sending me sideways, but in terms of how controllable and manageable it is, this actually feels weirdly more authentic. So 15% stability control. I don't feel like the stability I feel it helping me just a tiny bit, but I don't feel like it's massively influencing me. I don't know how that would change when I actually get properly sideways and go into a sort of spin, though. If I just give it a bootful. Okay, not enough power for that corner. I need 280 horse, not 220. The harder you drive, the more realistic. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the compatibility is a thing, Tabs. It's a big deal. So like I've reviewed many different sim racing products in my time. Maybe not actually as many as I think I have, but as Traction we have reviewed many, but the compatibility is still a nightmare all the time. And changing things over for the rig is a nightmare. Like I've got so much, I've reviewed so much equipment that will literally, you know, you never have the situation to use because they're all got different quick releases and they're 2 years out of date, and then that's changed, and that, you know, that Moza base is no longer compatible with those old Moza wheels, and the Moza quick release system is different to Fanatec QR1, but then Fanatec released QR2, and suddenly all of your QR1 wheels are no longer functioning, so you need to go QR2, and yeah, it's very, very messy. Right. .209 still with the stability, but it just felt a little bit more, weirdly it felt a bit more natural, having unnatural stability control. So what I'm going to say with that, fair play to Kunos Simulazioni for implementing a stability control that doesn't immediately feel like it's killing all of the immersion and all the realism. I'm sure at a higher percentage it would be a lot more, you know, it wouldn't let you understeer, oversteer, all these kind of things, or definitely wouldn't let you oversteer. But fair play, because that's pretty impressive. And that is the first time I've touched the stability control setting in this game. It's been set to 0 since minute 1, version 0.1. So good to know. Very good to know. And for any of you struggling with the car, give it a try. 10, 15% maybe just gives you enough to make it a little bit more manageable. We have one car to go with this sort of multi-car testing that we're doing right now, and then I'm going to see what's happening in the online racing, and we'll try and get a Paul Ricard session on the go. So, Dallara, but all vehicles, and we now have the EXP, which is basically the track version of the Stradale. Now look at the performance number on that. The track version is 24.6. The road car, the Stradale, is 20.6. So this is going to be an absolute beast. And I presume it's going to be on slicks, but again, I don't know. It might be on high performance tires, but it is a track car. So let's see what it can do. Final car of the new update, and this might be finally one where I should change the steering wheel, but let's see. I actually don't remember if I turned off the stability control. I'm going to quickly check on YouTube on my phone. Oh, that's not a stream. What's going on? Did I turn off stability control? Chat. By this point, I probably could have just checked myself. Yeah, I turned it off. Alright, we're good. This thing is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. We're still going to use this wheel, actually, because it does look like it's a D-shaped wheel still on the XP. We are on slicks, so it is on slicks. We've got an unfair advantage over everything else, because this is the only car from this update that's like a... It's not the only car that's track-focused, but it's the only non-road legal track car. This is like a BAC, well, even BAC mono's road legal, but you know what I mean. Right, let's see what happens. How does it sound? Really good. I mean, not beautiful, but aggressive. How does it drive? Oh! Okay, I take it back. I'm calling that beautiful, but in a kind of very angry way. It sounds like an old Dallara F3 car, which makes sense. Again, default is 5 traction control, but we're gonna start on 2 and see how we go. How does it brake? Oh yes, you've got a kind of natural inbuilt auto blip. Not a huge amount of power, that's what we're missing at the moment. I'm flat out in 4th gear, and it's fast, but it's not... I mean, it is fast, but it doesn't feel like it's throwing my virtual head against the virtual rest, let's say. I realised that we just spent about 15 minutes rambling on about hardware reviews and stuff like that, but it was good. It's important to talk about these things. Live streams are great for that because we can just chat about all this stuff without having to obviously explain it in a video, which then takes away all the time of the video. But I enjoyed that, so thanks Tabs for questioning that and kind of bringing that conversation to the table. I'm always happy to chat about all that stuff because it is like one of these things that we deal with. It's processes that we deal with on a weekly basis as Traction, and obviously this being our job, it's just stuff that is obviously normal to us, and we've kind of found our rhythm with it. We try and do everything as the absolute best that we can in the way that we think is right, but it's not always... A, everyone's different, and B, as a viewer, you don't know all the stuff that happens, and you can never really know it, so it's always good to have conversations about it. Again, I would say we've got a Discord channel, so if anyone wants to join the Discord channel, we've got a kind of members-only section where you can ask us anything, and we can, you know, we'll chat about all those kind of things as well. But we've also just got general channels where you can fire questions and chat with us on there too. I didn't really think about the colours at Watkins, so I don't know what the colour is right now on the Watkins Glenn curbs. I'm going to take your word for it though. I haven't looked at Watkins Glenn curbs with any kind of like, wow, with any kind of fine tooth. What am I talking about? Fine tooth comb. You know what I'm trying to say. I can't make words and drive a Delara EXP at the same time. I am really enjoying the sound of this. All sorts of mechanical whiz-bangery going on. I'm going to turn the traction control off because it is protecting me a little bit at the moment. As I say, it's not mega powerful. You've got the turbo kicking in, but it's all quite smooth. It just grips incredibly well. It's on slicks, but you can feel the downforce working as well. Like, this is a proper track car. It's going to be way faster than the Porsche, which was unbelievably fast. But it's a road car, of course. Into the 140s, easily. 147.0. Ooh, interesting. Track limits. I honestly thought I'd be okay there. So the curb on the inside of turn 1 is pretty gnarly in terms of track limits. You can't take too much of it. Some games are super lenient with Watkins Glenn track limits. Yeah, oh, Mark, I can't wait. I think hopefully there'll be some races on, actually, which we're going to jump into in a second. I know this lap isn't valid, but I'm going to just push the car to its limits without the traction just to see when it brakes. Speed through there, incredible. Another invalidation, so again, that curb. 5th gear through here? No. It's going to have to be 4th, but still. A little bit of a lift, and we still make it through without the brakes, no problem. Yeah, huge amount of lap time potential to learn with this car. But it's not, so I tried to just kind of like feed it in there and sort of treat it a bit lazily. It's not quite as direct and snappy as maybe a Sports Libre car, like a, you know, like a Racing Radical, or obviously a single seater like a, you know, Formula 3 or Formula 4. It's very different to that. It feels more like, it feels like a track day car, like, which sounds silly, but maybe more like a Lotus 311 or something like that, where it's obviously powerful, it's got lots of grip and lots of downforce, but at the same time it's kind of soft. Like, it has a sort of user-friendly road car vibe to it, where it doesn't feel super stiff and ready to snap on you. It just kind of, it's a little bit lazy in some ways. When it starts sliding, you can actually feed the steering off, and it almost feels like a grown-up Caterham or Westfield in that sense, which is interesting. Which would make it a really good... Yeah, there we go. Not easy, but it's a different. It's not an aggressive snap. It's not a sudden thing. It's quite kind of lulls. I'm really loving that car, so that'll be fun to race. So shall we do it? Shall we do it? I appreciate we lost a lot of time there with the Audi gearbox. So that's your 7 new cars. I mean, the time was like a 1:45 or something. Was it a 1:47? I think it was a 1:47.0. So I'm gonna go through them all and just read you the times, just to kind of conclude our little experiment there. So the Volkswagen Golf did a 2-minute 41.49. So it's slow, but it's iconic, so it's fine. The Audi did a 2:12. Is my stream frozen? Guys, am I frozen for you? Let me know in the chat, because I'm frozen on my screen and I don't know why. If you can still hear me, the Audi Quattro 2:12.4, the 86 Tirreno, which was the tuned version, so it's the faster one, 2:10.88, so quicker than the Audi. I'm frozen. Yeah, okay. Oh, interesting. The whole thing is... I'm frozen. Do you remember this happened last time with the Assetto Corsa EVO? When we tried to join an online race? Weird. I'm honestly going to have to, like, stop the stream. Oh, am I twitching? Oh, no. Oh, no. No, don't twitch. Whatever's happening on screen right now, I promise it's not happening. I'm fine. Oh, no. Guys, it's not safe. Right, okay. I'm going to end the stream and we're going to come back and everything's going to be fine. It's all going to be fine. I promise. I'm safe. Oh, back in a mo. Right, let me know in the chat what's going on. Nothing's working. This is bizarre. Right. Hello? Yay, we're back. We're back. What is it with Assetto Corsa EVO streams and everything just randomly breaking with my OBS? I do not understand what it is. It doesn't happen on other streams. It doesn't happen on other games. Also, right now, my Stream Deck's not working, so that's obviously crashed as well. So I wonder if the Stream Deck software crashed along with Assetto Corsa EVO. I need to see some of this twitching. Sorry, I'm gonna watch the stream back to see how cursed this looked, because I need to know. I need to know what I've just been on the internet. Oh goodness, yeah. Oh, that's unfortunate. I mean, DJ? Possibly. We'll go with DJ. Honestly, guys, it could be so much worse. It could be worse. There are so many freeze frames where, like when we're editing traction videos, there are so many freeze frames that are beyond unfortunate. And I look absolutely unhinged. And both times where the stream has frozen and started twitching like crazy, it's been lucky. I've actually looked fine. Like, it's been a lucky frame, and it doesn't always happen. So there you go. I mean, that twitch was unfortunate. I'll give it that. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. Assetto Corsa EVO. I am relaunching the game. Please, I was going to say let me know when it breaks again, but I'll probably see when it breaks again. I cannot get my Stream Deck working at all, which is also makes no sense. So that's going in the bin. I'm gonna have to do this manually. So let's get button clicking, shall we? and hope that things go well. I'm going to take Assetto Corsa EVO out of full screen mode, and I'm going to hope that that helps. But I have no idea. Should probably do a bit of a PC memory clear out as well. Let's get the chat, but let's turn off full screen first. Also, those performance issues were wild, weren't they? Not great. Lack of optimization on day one. Okay, I've clicked that. That's now loading in. Okay, VSync's on. We'll turn off full screen, which may not help our performance, but honestly, I don't think it'll make much difference at this point. Graphics. We've just got a custom one that I kind of spent time curating, so that's fine. We're just going to leave that there. Now I can bring the comments back up. Sorry about this, guys. All right, we're back. Hello, hello. Mum, no, don't come in. I'm sim racing. Oh, oh dear. Mr. Brake Thompson, this is a great day to work from home. Yeah. Yeah, let's. I don't know if we're gonna have to remove that section of the stream to avoid some sort of dodgy demonetization, but hopefully not. Hopefully not. It was all very, very innocent. Let's see what happens if I go to the multiplayer lobbies. Do we have daily races? I'm a bit scared by the portal, to be honest. I'm just checking the kind of regular server list. Okay. Track days. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of people on, to be fair. Lots of full servers, that's good to see. Track day style events. Right, daily racing portal. You guys can't see this, but I'm not taking any risks with pressing buttons so that you can see it at the moment. Let's be a little bit careful, shall we? Let me just log in. Bear with. One day I would love for this to all be integrated into the game, so that's something we should hope for. Right, I should be able to show you this in a second. Let's go for it. I don't want you to feel left out. Okay, so we've got the GR Academy, BMW M2 Cup, and the Delara Dash. That's is that today? Is that what's on? That's 0.4. Ah, okay. So the daily racing portal is still showing up as 0.4 by the looks of it. That's all the previous events, isn't it? Am I missing something obvious here, guys? Am I very confused? Are you gonna have to fix me again and tell me what I'm doing wrong? That's all. That's 0.4 stuff. There is a race at 10:12, which is in 2 minutes. The GR Academy race. I mean, I want to show you. I do want to show you. Let's register for it. Let's just do a GR race. I've got 30 seconds. Why not? Sure. Let's just do it, and then we'll do Paul Ricard separately. I was really hoping, and I thought, to be honest, that there was going to be 0.5 races already, but looks like it's not changed over yet. I think I've joined. So what do I do now? Race starts very soon. Let's jump in. It's Donington in the GR. Go with the server list. All right. Got 2 different screens, which is making this a little bit difficult. Okay, server list in the game. That should be fine. We need to do. The server is open, so we need to go to Drive, Multiplayer, Server List, search for the server using the server name once provided. So I should get that in a second, on my screen at least. All right, GR Academy Race 5. I'm gonna have to. What split are we in? Oh, we're in split 1. Excellent. Password's hidden. We're good. I'm not in the. You can see I'm not in the zone with this. As in, I'm not. I think I went the True Eno edition. I'm not like natural at this yet. I've not done it enough. because I'm still kind of coming back to this game in little bursts to try things when they change and then giving it more time to develop. So I'm still getting used to all the processes. Let's see if I crash this time, if the stream crashes, because this is where it also went horribly wrong last time. Any bucket seat recommendations, John? Well, I have this Pro Sim Rig seat from Race Anywhere at the moment, which is the Cobra. It's a Cobra seat, and I like it. It's good. I've got the cushion as well, optional cushion, which gives me a bit of padding for my butt, which I need desperately because my butt gets very sore. And we're moving on from all these innuendos now, guys. Okay, it's happened. It's past. We're beyond this. Let's do a GR86 race, and then I know this is not the new update, so I just wanted to do an online race because you can't do a stream and not at least have a go at a race, right? I was hoping it would be the new combos, but we'll have to wait for those. So maybe we'll do another stream when there's new combos. We get some of these new cars and tracks on the go. But for now, we'll do this race, and then I will do a Paul Ricard drive as well to show you that new track before I finish up here. It's 12:10, so should be able to do a race and then a little bit of Paul Ricard. Have to mute the music manually as well. Oh, it's a hard life when your stream deck stops working. 40 seconds of practice. Now, hopefully, because I don't have the H pattern assigned, I can just use paddles and not break the gearbox. Because if any of you, again, were watching the last time I streamed AC EVO, which was 0.4 update, and did some online races in the GR Cup, I ended the race. I was on for a podium, I think, or at least a top 4. And yeah, by the end of it, I was parked by the side of the road with no gearbox, as per usual. Traction off. We're going to get a few laps of qualifying, but I'm obviously going in very, very cold. But these cars are so... This is what I want. Like, from AC EVO, I want the ability to race these road cars and chuck them about and have a lot of fun. This is the perfect example of what I think is just going to be really, really good fun. Now, I'm in the top split, which is scary. Four minutes of qualifying, all right. Straight out there. Try and get a lap in. Will this crash? There we go. Eight people in the server. That's 8 is enough for a good 5-lap racer in Donington. 8 is okay. Mark, you asked about bucket seat recommendations. I told you my seat, and I said it's great. It is. I don't really have a wealth of experience of different bucket seats, and even if I did, I wouldn't know which ones to recommend. I'm not an expert in bucket seats. Let's go with that. I've sat on a few different seats in different rigs over my time, but a lot of them are like seats that come with the rigs. So like Next Level Racing produce a lot of their own seats. So I've sat on a lot of different Next Level Racing seats and stuff like that. But bucket seats themselves, no. I've just got the Pro Sim rig with the Cobra seat. Yeah, this is it, Mark. I'm a massive fan, as you know, of the hardcore sims, the iRacings, the LMUs. I love jumping into a proper competitive race, and you do want to prep for those. Like you know, both of them actually, iRacing and LMU. LMU, it's a little. I can kind of jump into a race with a few laps, and yeah, I'll not be as good, but I can still have fun, and it's kind of okay because there's not that many tracks, and there's only 3 or 4 categories of cars, so you kind of get you're not a million miles away straight out of the box. Maybe I will be now with the hypercar tyre update, but that's a whole other topic. iRacing's a bit different because there are so many different disciplines and tracks and car combos that you kind of need to practice. And obviously with your safety rating and everything, you don't want to ruin everyone else's races. It's a bit more reliant on prep, I think, to do iRacing events, unless you're comfortable with jumping into a race and sort of, being a bit of a risk for other drivers when you don't know your braking zones on lap 1, for instance. This is the same, but at the moment it's different because it's more casual. It's a daily racing portal. You've not got too much to think about. Obviously, yeah, you want to be safe and you want to be clean and you want to race everyone as fairly as possible, which I was rubbish at last time, if you remember, and I still apologise to the multiple drivers whose races I ruined last stream on the AC EVO, because I was driving like an absolute tyrant. But yeah, it's a little bit more casual. I feel like I can jump into this with limited practice, because it's, you know, it's a Toyota GR around Donington at the end of the day. I'm not going to be perfect. I'm going to have a bit of fun. Once there starts becoming a little bit more of a sort of, let's say, a system, a bit more of a complex online system, and a little bit more of a feeling of kind of a ranking, like it all exists, it's there within the SimGrid stuff, and you have your ratings and things like that, but it still feels quite, you know, pick up and have a bit of fun and play. And actually at the moment it's a nice little relaxing antidote for LMU and iRacing. 122.7 first qualifying lap. Should get another one in here. We're third on the grid at the moment. Everyone's sliding these Toyotas around, which is huge fun. So we're on row 2. This one's going to be in the way. Oh! I know, that was me, wasn't it? I misjudged the gap there. This is... what is it about me and Assetto Corsa EVO? I am awful. I am a tyrant. I ruin everyone's races, ruin everyone's laps, crash into everyone. I should be... like... I'm pretty sure that was me, right? We had a little bit of a latency issue last time as well, to be fair. But did I just not give him enough room? I want to see free cam, but we don't have time, I think, to explore it. Was it my fault? Totally my fault. Totally my fault. What is it with me on EVO, honestly? I'm gonna apologise. Right, we've got pole position 22-0, Ben 22-1, me 22-7. So there's, you know, the 22s is where it's at. I reckon I can get up with those guys. 21-5, as I say that, for Leon. So we're going to be in a little bit of a scrap here, which is exactly what we want. We'll try and keep the leaders, learn a little bit. Try not to crash into anyone. Oh, do you mean the oh, the Sabelt seat? The Sabelt thing's interesting, because they had a bunch of, they had like different configurations for rigs, where it's like you had like a Formula style, the GT style, the sort of more, I guess, like stock car style. The Sabelt seats were really, all of them were really good. I'm going to be useless for giving detailed feedback, and this was years ago. I'm just trying to remember a seat I sat in for 10 minutes years ago. But one thing I remember from that Sabelt trip, and I was with a couple of other creators at the time. I was with Ricard, Random Call Sign, Gamer Muscle, James. There was a bunch of others as well, and we all loved the seats. Like, they were really comfy rigs. Like, the Formula rig was amazing. But Sabelt seats I would feel good about. Put it that way. I would feel good about them. If I was, I can't just say or recommend them, because it would be unfair for me to say, oh yeah, based on a vague memory from years ago and kind of general brand knowledge, they'd go for them. But I do remember, you know, being very impressed with a lot of the Sabelt stuff. We're down to 4th on the grid. Right, are we going to get through a race cleanly? I really, really want to. And then we'll do Paul Ricard. Okay, nice. Left a lot of room on the inside. Just thought I'd do my thing on the outside, and we're straight into 4th, so that's fine. So podium is the target for this race. I think the front two, let's see if they're too quick, because their quali laps were very fast and they feel a bit more maybe up to speed than I am, but obviously I can still learn and get faster, so I'm going to do my best. I'm going to go alongside Ben straight away here. Try and take P3. He's going to let us go. Amazing. Thank you, Ben, for being so clean there. And the race is on for the winner. This is what I want from Assetto Corsa EVO right now. This is where it'd be fun. Yes, I would like this in a career mode setting, but this is the sort of racing that I want. This is what AC EVO gives me that other sims don't, right? That's what we're gonna go with. I don't know where I'm braking for the chicane. Especially... Oh! I mean, that got a bit clumsy. I was braking early probably for the chicane, but that, again, that's familiarity, right? I didn't know where my braking point was, especially not on the inside, so I'm not gonna be too harsh on anyone for hitting me up the rear there, because I might have braked at a stupidly early point. But I was kind of off, I was on the inside, so I wasn't really blocking the racing line. I was just kind of defending my lead. Come on. Ooh. Six-tenth lead from Leon, who will undoubtedly catch us here. Is it better than AC netcode? Ooh. In my experience so far, I wouldn't say, I can't say that yet. The signs are really good though. Like the day one stuff was messy, was very messy, but that's just because the servers were, I don't know if they weren't ready or they were overloaded or whatever it was. But day one was a struggle. However, the online races I've had since then, the netcode's actually been reasonably good. Not perfect, but reasonably good. No, not LMU. I know nothing's perfect, let me just get that straight, but decent without being the best, let's say that. And I think, to be fair, Assetto Corsa was kind of decent at times, but also it had its flaws. .22.0, so that was the time that would have put us kind of on the front row or near the front row, but 21 was, or 21.5 was it? Was the pole time? Look at Leon's speed into that first corner. I'm going to let him have the space here. 5-lap race, I think. Oh, we're going to run side by side. Just going to switch back into Old Hairpin. There we go. Textbook stuff. That first corner though, Leon carried so much speed into there and had all the grip through it as well. Hey, how's it going? Welcome along. Good to see you on a stream. It's going all right. We've had a mixed stream today, for a number of reasons. I mean, content-wise, listen, I love Watkins Glenn, right? I always love Watkins Glenn. So you're not gonna find me complaining about a new scan of Watkins Glenn that, you know, it's fun to drive around, and generally speaking with tracks these days, like the Kunos generally get them really good. Now I don't want to comment on the curb color. That's something that was brought up. And I wouldn't want to do that unless I was able to, you know, on stream back-to-back it with real life and look at the photos and kind of do some analysis there. But it felt good to drive, really, really good, other than the optimization issues at certain parts of the track where I was getting a big frame drop, which is a serious issue, I guess. Paul Ricard we're going to try in just a second after we've done this race. But the new cars, 7 new cars to try today, and I've driven them all, sort of, very briefly, and some are more enjoyable to throw around than others, but they all look good. They all have their different sounds, and I think there's a couple of standouts in there that I think are going to be really good for racing. BMW M2 is going to be a great car. The Caterham is going to be difficult as heck, but great ultimately. Big fan of the Dallara EXP for the sound and the kind of visceral experience, but also for being, it's kind of like, it's a race car, but it also feels like it's got its roots in road cars. There's a low 21. Last lap. So we've found our pace now. That would just put us in the front row. The AE86 is a hoot as well. I think I was expecting there to be like a full-blown mega drift version of that car. A bit like maybe the Supra, and I think maybe that is an equivalent of the Supra, but I just don't know if it's quite as bold, quite as aggressive, it sounds incredible, but I don't know if it doesn't really feel like full drift spec. but it definitely can be slid around, and lots of drifting fun can be had with it. Oh no, speaking of drifting fun. Let's just hold that in the power slides. Everyone behind me's got a 5-second penalty. Also, guys, I was going to test the track limit system, which is new, and I haven't gone off track to test it properly. I obviously haven't cut and gained. And I don't want to do it when I'm leading the race with 1 corner to go. Maybe we'll try an AI race at Paul Ricard. But look, no performance issues on this one. It's literally just that Watkins Glenn sector. 2 sectors of Watkins Glen. Really strange. Oh, fixed. Yeah, Mount Akina, that would be cool. Hey, we've won. Is that our first win in an online race on Assetto Corsa EVO? Possibly. Anyway, good stuff. Alright, sorry it's not a new combo though. Great fun to race those cars. Oh. I was going to leave a nice chat message, but apparently I've got too many buttons configured. Try that again. Sweet, that's us. So we get our win. Excellent. Moving on. Paul Ricard's time. Yeah, I know, Tabs. I'm so embarrassed. I wouldn't call it a punt. I would just call it a disgusting misjudgment. Right, we've got a game crash here. Oh, it's fine. We're back. Whew. I literally had the warning message come up to say that EXE had stopped working, and and we got it recovered. Surprise, surprise. Okay. Let's see Paul Ricard then. I think we've got 4 layouts to Paul Ricard as well. I can picture 2 of them. Oh, okay. 2 short variations as well. So we've got 1A-V2. So layout 1A version 2, which is the GT World Challenge Le Mans Ultimate layout with no chicane. So you're just flat out all the way down the back straight. Then you've got layout 1C-V2, which is the Formula 1 layout and the European Le Mans Series Le Mans Ultimate layout with the chicane on the back straight, which is going to definitely catch us out. And then we've also got 2 short layouts here as well, 3A and 3C, which cut right onto the back straight immediately. However, A has got no chicane, B has got a chicane. So that's cool. So maybe we go for 3C first, which is the chicane, the short one with the chicane, just to get a feel for that. And then we'll go to 1AV2 and have a look. I'll do... Ooh, what are we going to drive? Oh, it's such a tricky track to learn as well. Now, I kind of want to drive the... I want to go back to the Trueno, I think, for this. Should we try the regular version? Maybe a bit slow, but you know, we haven't tried it yet. Let's give it a run. Only fair. It's a short track, so we'll do that. Should still be fun. Maybe, do you want to do a race in it? Will we just go straight for a race? Why not? Let's just try a race. What could possibly go wrong with a 3-lap race here? We'll do 12. We'll do 11 opponents. Let's just be safe, and we'll start near the back. That's fine. Opponent behavior. Safe. It's the only one. Okay, for now. That's fine. We'll do automatic grid. That's all good. We'll just go with this. We'll run with it and see what happens. I don't think I've ever driven the short layout of Paul Ricard, to be honest. Don't mention the word Quattro, Mark, in this chat. Quattro is banned. It's banned from this live stream. No one's allowed to talk about that car. To be fair, I could actually drive it now because I've got the shifting sussed. We're up against Quattros. We're up against Mercedes 190Es. That feels like bold. We're also up against Mark 1 Golf. So there's a variety of vehicles, let's say. It's okay, I forgive you. I forgive you. too much trauma. Okay. Drive. Let's do a race. we're obviously, for reasons, if you've just joined us, that I don't want to touch on again, the gearbox thing means that we're going to go with paddles here. But I'm going to lift for the changes. Let's go with sequential maybe. Right, Paul Ricard, first look. This is the short version. So just follow the Alpha 75s into the first corner. Take one of them around the outside. Nice. Really like that join onto the back straight, to be fair. Penalty cleared. Okay, so I didn't gain anything. That's what we need to pay attention to. We've got chicane. Sorry, Alpha. So I want to try and cut the track and actually gain an advantage to test the track limits. Alpha Power is going to come in. This race has been okay so far. Not seen any strange behaviour. Calling that now. Half a lap in. Is this right-hander going to be pretty hairy? It should be. Yeah, quite hairy. Much more hairy when you've done the full back straight with no chicanes. Oh no. The longest right-hander in history, Paul Ricard. You have to go out and then wait and then wait and then wait and then get the power over the curb, run it out wide, and then you're straight back to the right. But in these road cars, you've got a bit more time to think. I'm not used to driving Paul Ricard in a road car. In fact, is this the first time I've driven Paul Ricard in a road car? Quite possibly. I've only really put the time into Paul Ricard on Assetto Corsa Competizione and Le Mans Ultimate. Both games that do not have road cars. Okay, the AI has been actually pretty safe, let's call it, at the moment. It's not, they're still not super fast, like I'm up against the other cars and I'm on the maximum difficulty and I'm still driving around them on the first lap, but it's not been crazy, let's say. I've lost my chat, so I can't actually read the chat right now. We've got a 3-lap race. So normally you go straight on here if you don't know Paul Ricard. I'll show you the full circuit in just a second. But instead, this shorter layout takes us to the right here. You've got a nice little joining section, which is over this curve on the right. Small lift, maybe flat. Depends on the car very much. Left-right chicane. Bit of contact with the other Treno. I think we're too far behind everyone else. Let's try a corner cut, see if it works. So we've cut that corner. Oh, nothing there. No time gained. Alright, apparently I didn't gain from that. Interesting. Let's try this corner. Just before I do, let me bring up the chat, because as I say, it's disappeared. I don't want to miss anything. Oh, no. Yeah, I've got you. I'm not letting you talk about Quattros. I'm not doing it. Yeah, the runoff area at Paul Ricard is mental. It's just... Yeah, you're caught. I'm sorry, Tabs. It is, it's a sight to behold. Right, if I cut this corner then, I should get a penalty. So if I go all the way over, beautiful line through the right-hander, easy flat, it should give me a time penalty that I've got to clear within 500 meters. No? Maybe I've not got track limits on. How about this? Oh, there we go. So the first one was fine. No time gained. All right. There's still an evaluation going on, which maybe means that I will get a penalty once the evaluation's done. Orange. Warning. Okay, I got a warning, but that was it. Any more? So if I go short in the last corner, I get a bit. And shorten this hairpin. Oh, another evaluation. I haven't checked the track limit settings, to be fair, to see if they're on like high or low. I've got another warning. Penalty cleared. All right. Did I mean, I think I probably gained. But I also drove pretty badly. This one I'm definitely going to gain from. So if I take loads of speed there, that's surely a track limit gain. How about this? Drive through. Hey, we broke it eventually. Okay, so quite lenient at Paul Ricard against the AI. Let's be real. And now I've been disqualified. Maybe it just took a little bit of time. Interesting. Okay. Let's give it a chance. This is the first experience where I'm kind of experimenting with it, so I'm gonna give it a chance. There were some bits there where I cut and then maybe didn't drive very quickly over the cut, but that's been very kind. What I'm saying is I'm not going to judge it on one race, but there were certainly moments there where I didn't get penalised that I probably should have. Layout 1A V2. Let's do the full Paul Ricard then, so you guys who don't know the track can see it. And I think what I want to do for this is I want to drive the Dallara EXP, but I think I'm going to do it in the wet, because why not? Drizzle. We'll do it in the drizzle. And we'll see what happens. Thank you so much for dropping in, though, Project Ultramarine. Very much appreciate it. And thank you for continuing to support the channel as well as a member. Really appreciate it. And yeah, hopefully you enjoy it when you catch it later on. Take care. Thank you. Is everyone going to be on slicks for this? Or do we need to put wets on? Surely it's wets. Is there inters? No, it's just wets. Alright, we'll just start this race and see. I'll give you the tour of Paul Ricard if you're new to the venue, if you're not a big ACC or Le Mans Ultimate player, or you haven't bought the DLC. Just going to assume everyone's on wets. And I will check the track limits again on this as well. Oh. Straighten the steering wheel first. No space left on the inside there. Okay, so you've got a kind of left-right chicane, which is off camber for the second part of it. I didn't give you a clear look at it there, to be fair, with all the chaos that was happening with the AI. Then you've got this really, really tricky slow section where you've got to get on the curb on the left, then onto the curb on the right, a little bit of brakes, over this really patience requiring left-hander, patience requiring I should say, into the very slow right-hander. This section is a bit like Village and the loop at Silverstone, but less, I'd say it's more satisfying. And obviously the run out of here is crucial, because then you've got this left-hand kink here, which then leads onto the massive backstretch, which we've got no chicane, so let's see what the Dallara can do. I'm keeping the traction control on for this. I've got a bit of damage maybe to the car, let's see. In the slipstream. So very, very high speed. And then this must be the most terrifying corner when you're traveling 250 kilometers. Obviously you're much faster in bigger cars, and then you're tipping it into this right-hander. Fourth gear, let's say. Back on the power over the curb. Absolutely terrifying. And then straight away, this super, super long right-hand sweeper where you're kind of being patient with it, running out wide in the middle, and then back to the inside for the exit. I'm obviously racing against some of these cars, so I'm taking slightly strange lines here in the wet. I will try track limits as well. Then this bit you'll have just seen, so you've got a last sector here, two corners, big long sweeping left, into a horribly tight hairpin right. I found this track so difficult to learn because all the corners look so similar. It took me a wee while, and then once I got the hang of it, I actually quite like it to drive. But it really did take me, it's probably on all the tracks on ACC that I didn't know, which to be fair wasn't many, but this was the one that felt the most difficult to get fast at. Maybe along with, whoa! Maybe along with Kota, that was a snap. Right, this is how the first chicane should look. You get over this curb, bit of sideways, the AI sliding as well, out onto the curb on the exit. Use all of the road out there. And then you want to stay left here and brake, and if it's dry, you can use a bit of this curb. It's just all about using the space to your advantage around Paul Ricard, really. Let's try a corner cut to overtake. See if we get penalised for that. So clearly that's a cheat, right? I've just cut across the middle of the inside. No warning. We're going to cut this one as well. Okay, got it. The lap time went red there. But nope, no penalty. Penalty cleared. So whatever setting I'm on right now, if there is a setting for it, it's not super strict, I would say. Fair slipstream effect, but not crazy. The AI are, even on the hardest difficulty, they are just a little bit slow, I think. Fighting the car all the way. Look how hot my wet tyres are. 110 degrees on the outside. It's only kind of drizzling though. Again, another, ooh, big snap. Big late apex, that one. So you got two very long corners in a row with very late apexes. You just got to be so patient around this track. This corner also patience required hugely because it lasts forever and you go round and round and you're still going round, you're still going round, you're still going round, and then you want to be in a good position on the left for this hairpin, and again it's like so slow. Maybe that's more like the Lupin Village section at Silverstone. Right, no track limit penalties as of yet, so we'll do a little bit more cutting, see if we can see how much it takes. Clear cut there, clear advantage. Penalty cleared, nothing for that. A bit more here, that's a clear gain. Now 1.9 ahead. Nothing for that either. Oh no! Good thing it doesn't matter. Right, can we win this race by cutting and not getting penalised? Because that's, again, so it's been cleared now, no track limit gain. So yeah, that's not going well. So far at Paul Ricard. I do wonder if we need to set more lap times to like establish what is a gain and a loss. That's what I'm wondering, if this is maybe... Is the data not quite working, maybe because it's wet? I'm wondering if it's using dry data and therefore it's not thinking I'm gaining, but even then it's not really warning me when it's, and that shouldn't really matter. Look at the big cut here, right? That's an obvious cut. And there we go, penalty pending. So at this point I can lift off and back off and give back some time, but I'm not doing that. I'm continuing to push on. Warning. So that was a warning. So it's not strict enough, and whatever these settings are, it's just not strict enough in this situation. I'll try something else in the dry and we'll do a racer in Watkins and see. Okay, I should not get to keep P2 in this race. I think I've kept P2 in this race. Oh, it's frustrating. That's frustrating. It seems to have given me P2. Love the downshift sounds, by the way. Now, that last one, is that because I cut on the last corner and it hadn't given... The race finished before the game had time to process what my penalty was going to be, therefore it gave me no penalty. That could be an explanation for the last one. Let's go and check the settings before I go... Before I continue to be too harsh here, let's just check the settings. And make sure there's not like a track limits very lenient thing on. So you've got quick mode, race type, race duration, nothing about rules. Obviously we can try it in online racing, but that's a bit of a cheeky... I don't really want to do that in an actual daily race, because that's... I'm not going to be that guy. Race weekend settings, there's nothing in there. I'm just checking everything thoroughly to make sure. We're going to do it in the dry as well to see if that changes things on another track. Assists, nothing in there about track limits. So, yeah. That's just not a great start, is it? Settings? Gameplay settings? Doubt it's in there either. That's just replay stuff. HUD. Yeah, no. Obviously not. Alright. Unless there's something hidden away in a menu somewhere. We'll try a dry race. Oh dear. Oh dear. Yeah, no, you're totally right, Tabs. But having said that, I can understand a setting for like on or off. So obviously this wasn't on or off, it was on. So you're absolutely right. I could understand it if they decided to do a, you know, you could turn off penalties basically. Let's go back to Watkins. We'll do the shorter one with the chicane so we can cut it, and we'll see how much leeway we get. All right, we're gonna do it. It's coming back, and I'm gonna just use paddles, so we're going to be okay. It's gonna work. Quick race, 3 laps, fine. I'm just gonna again use it as a bit of a test. Automatic grid is fine. We'll go more opponents. Probably a bad idea. But anyway. And we'll just put them all at 100%, so they're absolutely as difficult as can be. There's no behavior option yet. Let's see what happens. Oh! Good news, Phil. Excellent stuff. Oh! Not excellent stuff. I went too soon. I'm so sorry. I read the first sentence of your message. What a nightmare. Oh well. Did you order the right size, or did they send you the wrong size? Yeah, very much not excellent. I do apologize. I jumped the gun. Did you order the right size, or did they get it? Did they get it wrong, or did you? Because hopefully they will sort that. Hopefully they will sort that. Comments back up before the race starts. Right. Ah, okay. Yeah, so yeah, I'm sure you'll be fine. Just a bit of time you're going to have to wait, I guess, is really annoying. Okay, Quattro gets a good start. That's not a surprise. We're passing all the Group A homologation specials like they're sitting still in our Group B homologation special, essentially. I don't know if this was a homologation special, but it's a car that obviously exists for the rally car. Oh, hello. They were all very slow on the inside of turn 1, but I still admit that was me being super aggressive. Let's see how strict the track limits are then in a race at Watkins. Excuse me. Sequential gearbox working nicely. Can actually drive it normally. Where are the AI going to brake for the chicane? I need to see how the AI do this chicane. AI behaviour through difficult switchback corners is often a good point to analyse them for. To be fair, everyone looked pretty solid through there. It was just the first corner where they all bunched up a bit much. We can drift this Quattro for some reason around the outside. Come on, come on, no. No. We're trying it again. I was having too much fun and forgetting. Oh. We'll try that one more time. I'm going to try and cut. They do, yeah, I thought that as well, Tabs. It makes sense that we would get a better start, by the way. Hang on, my steering wheel's not straight. We've got a 4-wheel drive Audi, so we should be better off the line. It's more a question of the behaviour through turn 1. Let's try and keep our car out of trouble this time. So there. Okay, the Treno's fine, but here, yeah, you see that they got really slow on the inside. Are they going to leave me room to get back on? Sort of. Right, no time gained in terms of track limits. Now remember, this is obviously 100% difficulty as well. So we should be racing with these Quattros. Put one down the inside. be quite as stupid when I throw it into this right-hander. But look, they're all on quite a wide line, so I can just kind of sneak down the inside. There's the interesting. So the frame rate drop happens at exactly the same point in an AI race as well, even on the other layout. So that's clearly specific to that sector of track. For whatever reason, as soon as you get to that part, doesn't matter if there's AI or not, doesn't matter, it just goes choppy. That's a shame. Hopefully something that can be fixed with some patches, etc. Still early access, of course. Ooh, sneak down the inside. Right, we need to do some corner cutting next. See what happens. I understand, even with a high difficulty level, that the first lap in most games AI will not behave very well. I mean, that was too early on the brakes for the Audi. I still made the corner even though I was essentially avoiding 2 crashes there. I'm going to back off. I could take the lead here, but I'm going to slow down and we're going to cut the chicane to overtake. I'm going to see what happens. See if it's a wet weather specific issue, if it's a Paul Ricard specific issue. That was already a little bit of a cut there. That's clearly not legal. Okay, so it's orange, now it's gone red, so maybe that's a good sign. That should be, then we get the frame rate drop. So if it's red, that should be a penalty, right? If other games are anything to go by. Yeah, okay, penalty received, 10 seconds. Okay. That worked as it should have. To its credit. Try a bit more of the sort of subtle corner cutting. Yeah, right now the AI are definitely unoptimized, Sam. They're still a long way to go. It's been one of my biggest criticisms of EVO. It's been the AI. Okay, so that's... I mean, I used the track to kind of stop myself sliding, but I don't know if that would count as illegal. No time gained, but you could argue I did gain because I was able to collect myself, but... Anyway, we'll try the chicane again. Oh, you've never seen overtaken? Yeah, fair. Right. Okay, it's gone red again as the evaluation has started. Now, if I slow down here, it should change colour. Orange. Okay, so if I back off a bit more. I've got 500 meters to do it. Now it's yellow. And now it's been cleared. So you can... Okay, that is as it should be. So I've gone across the chicane, I've gained, it's given me that bar essentially to give back that time. Now I don't know what was happening at Paul Ricard, whether or not it was maybe basing it on dry data rather than, I don't know, I don't know what reference it's using to tell you whether you're gaining or not, because of course I'd only done, that was the first lap of that layout in any car, any conditions, and it was wet. So what data is it using? Is it using AI data? Is it using other players' data? That doesn't make any sense. I'm not sure how it does it, but it does it. So yeah, interesting. Interesting. So, one bad example, one perfectly reasonable example in terms of the penalty system, so something to build on, I guess. Afternoon, Dave. Long time no see. How's it going? You've joined at an interesting point, because it is the point of the stream where I am going to leave. We've done our lap time challenges at Watkins Glenn. I was maybe going to do one more online race, but I think if it's not the new stuff, then we'll maybe save that for when we have the new daily races with the new content. It's still not 0.4 daily races according to the website for me, and that's fine. Oh yeah. No, we're gonna save that for another time. So we've had a little look at the update. I'm not frozen, am I? No, I'm good. I'm good. And I like the new cars. I mean, when there's 7 new cars on Assetto Corsa EVO, I'm always going to like the cars. I'm not going to enjoy driving all of them, but there's always a good chance that there's variety there and there's some stuff I enjoy. Not always, it doesn't have to be fast. It doesn't have to be rear-wheel drive either, but more often than not, if you've got a fast and rear-wheel drive Dallara, Caterham, Porsche, BMW M2, A86, which is maybe not fast, but it is definitely rear-wheel drive, I'm going to have a good time anyway. But I am happy with how the cars look and sound. I'm happy with how they feel, generally speaking. There's still some weird quirks with this game. I don't know what's going on with my clutch system and the H pattern and all that, the nonsense going on there. Do not know how to solve that. But the solution right now is to not use an H pattern gearbox. Fine. The penalty system worked at Watkins Glenn. Did a good job, seemed to do what it should be doing, didn't seem to work properly at Paul Ricard at all for one reason or another. So maybe stuff to be ironed out there. Maybe it's a wet weather issue. Maybe it's a first day of a new track issue. Maybe it is the issue of me crossing the line before the penalty had been given. That's something that needs to be developed. I don't know, but it's not perfect. So hopefully that gets continued to be worked on, but it is there in the game, and it is something. So that's it. That is it. Yeah, all good, Dave. I've just seen your comment asking how is the update, and I've just given you a big spiel about the update. The tracks are cool. Watkins I love. Paul Ricard I don't love, but I don't mind. I've gotten used to it, and it looks great. It looks exactly as it should, even if it's not the most enjoyable to race around. But 4 layouts is good. Short layout of Paul Ricard is great, because it allows people to learn the track at an easier pace, I think. If you're new to Paul Ricard, do the short layout, less corners to remember, and then once you're comfortable, do the main one. So that's all good. And career mode's gone. That's the other big thing, obviously. No more career mode, no more open mode switch, no more choice between the two. You just jump into the game and you're here. So we need to see what's next. I had a whole discussion about this earlier in the stream, so if you missed it, I do apologise. But basically, while I started that lap time challenge right at the beginning, I chatted about the thoughts on career mode stuff. And where I stand with it is we need to... I'm not writing anything off because career mode's not been scrapped, it's just been changed. But we need to see and hear soon what the vision is now that's going to still justify people that spent their money on a game based on a career mode that was sounding exciting. So hopefully Kunos will have some answers for us as to what we can expect, and hopefully they continue to do the good stuff well as they've been doing recently, but continue to improve the stuff that just isn't there yet. Stuff like the AI, maybe the penalty system, who knows, and all that stuff. Daily races are good fun. They haven't changed yet, so I can't comment on version 0.5 daily races, but hopefully I will be able to soon. And I didn't even try the free cam, but free cam is good. It's good to have free cam, so that is a positive. Everything else, is not a really big part of this update. So that's kind of where we're at. Do I see myself playing Assetto Corsa EVO 0.5 very regularly? Not yet. Similar to the last few updates, having daily races is good. I have daily races in other games. Having daily races in road cars is the biggest thing for me right now. Building an ecosystem around road car racing and then being able to build into race cars is good. That's what I would like to see personally. I'm obviously excited for free roam. That's going to be cool, but it very much depends on what's done with free roam. It can't just be free roam. You cannot just drive, and some people might love that, but you cannot just be able to jump in a car, drive, and there's nothing else to it. There needs to be depth to it. There needs to be purpose, a reason to drive from point A to point B, challenges, something. There needs to be something. So fingers crossed that is the case, like was initially the plan. And that's it. Good to hear, Phil. Great. SimLab, our experience with SimLab is great. So that's good that you also had a good experience when you had an issue. Fantastic stuff. McMaxa, sorry. Good to see you on the stream again. Hope you're doing well. Is the Ride 6 career mode license back? Oh, what do you mean by the license? Sorry. Do you mean the license is in like a license test at the start of career mode? I'm not quite sure I understand the question. But if you want to see how the Ride 6 career mode starts, I did a stream on that earlier this week, so you can check that out on the channel. I can't remember if I saw you in that one. But either way, I might be totally misunderstanding the question, so I do apologise. How many cars and tracks are there now, says Pixel. Let's see. I'm not going to be able... We do have a full car list and track list on the Traction website. It's probably easier, to be honest, to go there. But if we go to the vehicle hub, I mean, manufacturer-wise, you've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 18, sorry, 7, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 24 manufacturers. And I'll give you a quick rundown of all the cars. Let me just hide my face, which I can't. I need to do it manually. That one. Alright. Quick rundown of all the cars. In alphabetical order. I'll point out the new ones for anyone who's just joined and wants to see the new content. I will point them out as I go. So, Audi Quattro, brand new. BMW M2 Coupe, G87, brand new. Caterham 485 CSR, also new to join the Caterham Academy. Dallara EXP, also new and absolutely rapid. High performance numbers on those cars as well. There's a really cool mix of cars in this game, guys. Honestly, it's built up fast, and I appreciate that. Like the scope and the variety is what makes it good. New Porsche 911, GT3 RS, so the road car version of the Cup car, is also new. The Sprinter Torino 1600 GT Apex is also new, and the Volkswagen Golf GTI Mark 1. Was that all 7? I feel like I may have accidentally skipped over one. I can't remember. Oh, I've got the memory of a fish. Right. There you go. There you go. Tabs, you're very welcome. Thank you for joining. You guys are what makes these streams fun. If you weren't here asking me questions and giving me stuff to talk about, I would just be rambling absolute nonsense. More nonsense than I already ramble. And it is thanks to the support and the comments from all of you watching that make these streams so enjoyable. So a massive thank you. I love doing them. I'm glad you enjoy watching them too. And there will be more streams very, very soon. THL agrees about free roam. There needs to be substance. Absolutely. Thanks for joining, Lee. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you have a good day. License test. McMax said there's a training. So there's not a license test in career mode. There is a training sort of driver academy section, which is like a Gran Turismo license test, where you get bronze, silver, or gold, depending on how you complete the challenge and what time you complete it in. And there's challenges for like learning hairpins. There's challenges for learning your electronic anti-wheelie and ABS and braking and traction control. And there's license tests for like double apexes, things like that. So yes, there is a sort of license thing, and it's not part of the career mode, but it does earn you money, and it gives you bikes and equipment if you get all gold, where you can actually use them in career mode. So in some ways, it feels like it is part of career mode, if that makes sense. And you can see that in the Ride 6 stream. I didn't do any of the tests, but I at least show the menus and stuff for it. So yeah. Totally agree. I'm going to end on this one. Bobby, 100%. A bit of personality in the cars, a little bit of... I mean, obviously, we've got part customization to a very small degree so far. It was... Oh, sorry, I'm losing my voice. Another thing that was so heavily pushed when Assetto Corsa EVO was first breathing into life was, like, the kind of part customization and, like, the character customization. So if you remember the very early trailers and stuff, we saw, like, a driver, and didn't they have, like, a glove... It showed them putting a glove on. And it was like switching between gloves, or there was something to do with different brands were involved, and you could buy cosmetic items and probably tuning parts from certain brands. There were lots of official brands that were linked with the game, so we were all expecting there to be this kind of saving up money to buy tuning parts element that Gran Turismo has to improve your cars and stuff. That would be really cool, even if it's just visual. I would love there to be proper performance enhancing stuff, more than what we've already got, which is just our kind of configurations for each individual car. But yeah, that would be great, and a little bit more visual customization. They're already, you can paint them and stuff like that, but a bit more would be awesome. So yeah, guys, thank you so much. Enjoy Assetto Corsa EVO 0.5. Let us know your thoughts, not on the live stream chat because it's about to be closed. Let us know your thoughts on AC EVO 0.5 content, career mode, everything else on our Discord server. So you can find the link in the description. And if you're not on Discord, and if you want to leave it on a video on YouTube in some form, go and check out our most recent podcast. It's on the Traction Control podcast channel, which is a collaboration with the Traction channel. It's the same people. It's all of us. Secret. It's no different. It's just the podcast is in a different place so that we keep it nice and clean and separate from the main videos. But we're uploading a podcast every single week. And on Wednesday morning, we uploaded our most recent episode where we talked about career modes in racing games and Assetto Corsa EVO's latest news about career mode. So maybe leave a comment with your thoughts on that. Go and check out the podcast, and maybe you'll find another thing you can listen to on a long drive, or something to have on in the background as you're working away and we talk nonsense about racing games and sim racing like we do on stream. So there you go. Thank you so much. We'll see you all again soon. Take care. Have a good day, etc, etc. I need to do this bit manually. Wait, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Thanks and goodbye. Oh, I need to mute my mic manually. No. Bye.